Hate us because they ain't us.
Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us. That's a great saying, okay?
Pouring out one.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Pouring out one for my homie Gorlami. Rest in piss. It was a lot closer than it should have been, but still, they hate us because they ain't us. It's officially Fantasy Football Championship week for me. I have somehow found my way into both Fantasy Football Championships. I don't know how, but anyway, we're not here to talk about fantasy too much. We're here to talk about football a little bit more. And welcome to the stupidest football podcast imaginable, the Football Stooges, and...
Boy, is it stupid.
Boy, is it stupid. We had a little smaller crew today, only three of us. We got some people obviously vacationing, the new year coming around, so as this is releasing close to the new year, I hope you have a very happy 2024, a good end to your 2023, and may your teams win as much as they can until they meet my team, of course. So, anyway, but yeah, I'm the host of the Football Stooges Lob City. This is the first time that we have never had Macedon on the podcast, which is a crazy moment. So this guy's going to have to start pulling his weight a lot more. It's Mamba.
I better start drinking. Hold on. Let me start chugging something. Give me a second.
Water. Oh my, those vibrant chugging noises. There we go.
Fuck the Eagles. Oh my god, our defense is trash.
Gotta grow out a beard another foot longer, your hair another 3 feet longer, just, extend it all out. Yeah, and then the other part of our three amigos today, K-Duff.
I actually do have something to drink.
You should act like...
What was that, a high noon?
Down east. Cider.
Okay.
No Gorlami.
Yeah, no Gorlami. I
Yeah.
believe he's hanging out with family on a hunting trip. Macedon is back in... not back. I don't know if he's from Texas or not, but his family's there, so he's there now. He made that big drive after our last podcast, so made it there safely. Had a good Christmas.
The only thing Gorlami wishes that they're in the hunt for is the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I kind of did dash his hopes. There's a reason I played this video to start. Just saying. R.I.P.
My hopes were sort of dashed this week. We won, but we're missing out on Caleb Williams and possibly Drake May. So,
bro, I could have won if I started. What is it? Not Cooper Kush.
Cooper Kush. Cooper Kush.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Cooper Kush. That's a new one. Yeah, but shout out Muzzy.
How's that a new one? What?
Cooper Kush. I haven't heard that before, actually. But shout out Muzzy. Me and him are in the finals together. It's funny. He was the first pick of the draft. I was the last. So that's kind of funny to get into that position now.
Oh, shit.
Big game.
Right.
Big game for the fantasy finals. We have obviously me and Muzzy for first place. For third place, Mamba is playing
Gorlami.
Yep,
Yeah.
Mamba's playing Gorlami. And then for last place, basically, I don't want to drink the Stooges cocktail, is going to be Macedon and K-Duff. So
yeah.
It's kind of funny because if you look at the picture above us, Gorlami and Mamba are over here to my right. And then you got Macedon and K-Duff to my left over there, and they're both playing each other, and I am playing.
Almost like Muzzy planned for
He planned it all. He's the demon.
He's the script writer. This is the guy you're looking for.
Get out of my skin! Get out of my skin! Stay in the box. No! Stay in the box. No! Okay.
The intrusive thoughts of taking over law.
Get out of my skin! All right. I mean, being a Bengals fan probably is maybe schizophrenic anyway. So what? Yeah, that and a Michigan fan. Other than the past couple years, it's been rough. But pass it to Brees Hall. But yeah, anyway, I am in the fantasy. I am in the fantasy football championship for the Football Stooges, playing Muzzy. The Browns defense has got me some good points. They had a pick six, which is great. And then I am in the fantasy football league for my family. I'm playing my parents. And I'm going to their house on Friday to celebrate New Year's, which is going to be pretty funny. So it's me and my wife made the team together. She made a really good call. She told me to draft Jake Moody with her final pick. Which
Oh.
I was like, I don't know. Maybe I feel like more like a McPherson, and he turned out to be like one of the best kickers in the league as far as consistency. So I did have to twist. I did have to twist her arm to pull and draft a Viking. I drafted T.J. Hawkinson. That was a great call for me. He's hurt now, so it's gonna. I picked up Taysom Hill.
I started in Njoku when I heard that news, and I was like, oh my god, Njoku's fucking going off right now.
Well, I mean, it's Flacco. He's used to the fucking
Yeah, I
scheme,
know,
as we
it's
talked
tight
about
end.
last week. Just, who's open?
Yeah, all John
Everyone's
Harbaugh's
too
scheme
small.
for like the past 15 years has been throw to tight end. If he's not open, run the ball.
Exactly. But yeah, so I have Breece Hall and the defense of the Cleveland Browns for that league, and both of them are going off. I'm currently beating they don't have any players playing right now, but I'm beating them by 30, maybe more now. And I'm already projected to beat them by 40, I believe now. So hopefully that stays true. We'll be a little awkward on New Year's Day when I'm kind of sitting there, win the fantasy championship league. But anyway, we got a decent amount to get to today. Full slate of NFL games. I think we'll briefly talk about the college playoff. I mean, it's just it's 2 games. So we'll talk about that. That's going to happen on the 1st of the new year. I'll be watching that with bated anticipation, hoping that Michigan can beat the brakes off of Bama, as many other people also hope that as well. Most of them Florida State fans. But without further ado, this is obviously the fantasy championship week, so let's get into this week in fantasy with Muzzy's video of the week.
I love these blind watches.
He's probably making the playoffs. I just have to put him here so that
He's
he
be a
doesn't
Super Bowl
kill
contender,
himself,
I
because
think.
overall.
This is one of the best ones, by the way. I have to watch these before he sends it to make sure they're, like they work and everything. This is
What is this?
This is one of the best ones.
Oh.
Fields and Nakua went off for me.
We're lonely.
Accurate depiction.
Yeah.
He's got it! Yonder's got the spear!
That's a good still, is him just turning.
Yeah. Oh.
This is gonna hurt, Mamba.
Yeah, I heard
Robinson. Yeah. Caffrey.
Shall I describe it to you? Or would you like me to find you a box?
That kind of looks like McCaffrey. Orlando Bloom is legless. Kind of looks like Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, sort of. It's censorship.
Oh, 80% chance to win, Mamba.
Wait for it.
80%.
I
for
saw this, dude.
Oh, Hawkinson.
Hawkinson died, yep.
Yep.
He did die. This is the craziest comeback too. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it begins.
So. We're not doing
No, man.
But we totally won.
It was
By
because
a point.
what game?
1.44.
Yeah,
Yeah.
McCaffrey and Ayuk like started crawling back in points. I'm just like, fuck.
Wait, did I just?
Yeah.
Alright.
Portugal.
Portugal.
Is what's on the screen. 22. Jonathan Taylor. He's going back and looking at all the videos.
When the season's over,
For the
I'm gonna
finale.
miss these.
Orlami.
Oh
I
man,
like that. That was good. That was good.
great video once again from Muzzy.
Yeah.
Great
It's
video.
always good. Always good.
Oh.
Get well soon, bud.
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the year, because he's probably gonna make one for like the final this week in fantasy, because it ends this weekend. We should have an episode in
he
the
says
off season
finale.
where we just I think we should have an episode where we bring him on and we just have like a commentary, and the whole stream is just us going through all like 18 of them. Really,
Just the director's commentary. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah. That'd be
I think that'd be good. That'd be a good one. I have some good plans for the off season. We're gonna get zany. We're gonna get wild. I think we should all. I was thinking about
We won't have to talk about the USFL, so thank the Lord.
Oh yeah.
It'll be only the XFL now, which is nice. But I was thinking like we should all do we should all get Madden 22 just because it's cheaper, and we should all like we should play each other in Madden 22. I think on stream that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be fun.
22.
Yeah, 24. Well, 24 doesn't work well, and 23 is still expensive, and 22 is cheaper. So it's just it's a good fit.
I think I have 23, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I'll have to check.
Anyway, they make a new one every year. It's bogus, but
What else is new?
You mean they copy paste one every year?
yeah, they need to make a new engine, but that's us getting down the gaming rabbit hole, and we could be in there for ages. So, but yeah, about that, I think it'd be funny if we tried to talk football while we were playing like a horror game, like if we all got into a Lethal Company game, all of us together, and tried to play that as we're talking football. So I got some good things for the off season, but again, we're jumping ahead. We're not even in the football playoffs yet. We're just talking the fantasy football playoffs. So we got a lot to get to today. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna do the crossover grid. We'll get to KDF news, and then we'll move on to our score breakdown after that. So without further ado, the crossover grid. First one.
Joe
Gotta
Flacco.
be Joe Flacco. Gotta be Joe. There's something about Joe Flacco. Something. Did that not?
What?
Okay, I'm
What did that
reloading the
not?
page. We're reloading the page. Unlimited
Okay,
guesses. Joe Flacco.
What?
Okay,
He was on the
that didn't work.
Jets. Wait.
He was on
That
the
didn't.
Jets.
Yeah, that didn't work. So,
What the fuck?
Okay, let's just Joe
Yeah,
Thomas.
we can't mix over. What we call this? Mix
What
overboard?
is
Crossover
happening?
grid.
What is happening?
Cancel. We're canceling. Oh, try this. Do you have an ad blocker on?
Yeah.
Try turning it off and see if that does it.
Okay.
Just a theory.
Nope. Let me
No?
reload it.
Fuck.
Okay, it's off. Joe Flacco. Oh, fucking Joe Flacco, dude.
There's
Yeah,
no
this is-
fucking way.
Yeah,
I
this
think it's
isn't working.
bugged.
It's
Well,
bugged.
okay,
Okay,
well,
crossover.
Well,
grid.
let's try a generic one then. Go to
Maybe
the
if we
five
go
graphic
yesterday
test
grids, let's just do yesterday's grids and see. We didn't do this
What?
one yesterday. What?
Yeah, what is
click
happening?
start over. Click
We,
start
we
over.
saw all of them. What the fuck? Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just try a different square. Just put something like Nick Chubb for this one.
Okay, Nick Chubb.
Chubb.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so
working.
it works. I just don't know why it's not accepting those.
Okay, Pro Bowler. Let's do Joe Thomas. Now, play till
Joe
2022.
Flacco. You could technically do Joe Flacco. He was a Pro Bowler.
Did he play till he didn't just retire, did he? That was last year. Didn't Joe Thomas retire in 2017?
No, he's already Hall of Fame. So he's or is it another Joe Thomas? I don't know.
Yep, there it is, Joe Thomas.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, so
So then why didn't Joe Flacco count?
Maybe it's
it
just he
doesn't
didn't.
count.
No,
Maybe it's just not updated.
Huh.
there's got to be other ones. Two TD receptions
Yeah, of
in a
course.
game. Oh,
Oh yeah, well you got to do LT.
1% there too. 4,000 pass
4,000
yards
passing
is
yards.
not Joe Namath.
Definitely not your name. Definitely not Tessa Verde either.
Oh, Chad Pennington.
Pennington, really?
Oh no, not Shed Pennington.
Yeah.
Swear to God, if Sanchez.
Through Sanchez.
There's
just
no
to
way.
say. SH.
Nope, not Mark
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Huh.
Nope.
Wait, Ryan Fitzpatrick? No, that also can't be right.
No.
All
right, it was Joe Namath.
Namath actually did it.
Namath did that shit. Okay, 2 TD receptions in a game and a Pro Bowler.
You could put anybody. Jamar Chase.
Whoa, I think I actually hit the wrong one.
Okay, try
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
okay.
2 TD receptions in a game and 5 rushing touchdowns.
I don't know. Fucking
any running back.
Todd Gurley. I don't fucking know. Is he a dual threat?
Try to go.
Adrian Peterson, maybe? I don't know.
No.
I tried Tristan McCoy. I'm trying to get a random one.
Gurley. I don't. That's my best guess.
Really? Peyton Hill's done 2 TD receptions in a game? Okay. It's got to be a dual threat. Dual threat.
Oh, Debo, definitely.
Debo Samuel, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
4,000 pass yards in a season and a Pro Bowler.
Brady.
Ooh. Yeah, we could do Brady. Obviously, that's a big one. But what if we go and try to get one that's under the radar a little bit? No, not Huntley.
No fucking way.
He was a Pro Bowler.
He was. Did he ever have a 4,000 passing yard season though?
Yeah, Johnny Unitas didn't do it.
Johnny Football definitely didn't do it either.
Sorry, I'm just going old school.
Jim McMahon.
Nope. All right, well,
Jeff George. Palmer might have.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
4,000 pass yards in a season and 5 rushing touchdowns in a season. This has got to be a dual threat. Let's go with Vic here.
Yeah, I was gonna say Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. Cam Newton. Okay.
Now a Jets and a Brown.
Oh, who's the guy that the Jets traded to the Browns in the offseason? A wide receiver, I think.
Traded to the Browns, was a wide receiver. Eric Decker? Nope.
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. Boom.
There you go. I was like, what, who doesn't want to be on a team with Aaron Rodgers as your QB?
Oh, Brett Favre, 4,000 pass yards in a season was the most
Brett
popular
Favre.
answer there. Yeah.
Brett
Favre.
Wilson, Randy Moss, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett,
Tom
McCaffrey.
Brady, Cam Newton. All right, let's go ahead and segue now into KDUF News.
A long transition there. Anyway, welcome to KDUF News. So we're going to start this off with injuries, and probably the biggest one out of the week, especially with their playoff hopes on the line, as well as Mamba's was up until this week. Vikings tight end TJ Hawkinson, he tore both his ACL and MCL in their game against the Detroit Lions. He is done for the year. Also done for the year, Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. He was originally already on IR for a knee injury, but he's now officially gone under surgery this week. That officially ends it. Browns quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he came in relief for Joe Flacco in their game this week, temporarily at least. Flacco had to come back in because Thompson-Robinson suffered a season-ending hip injury. He's done. Giants kicker Cade York is also done for the season because of a quad injury, and some of these aren't like super serious injuries, but they're not going to be back in time before their teams seasons are over, or maybe not make. Some of these guys might be going into playoffs and might make it back, but who knows? So you got Patriots offensive tackle. We lost yet another piece of the O-line, Connor McDermott, with a head injury, and Commanders running back Chris Rodriguez Jr. officially deactivated after an ankle injury this week. Shorter to long-term stuff, all Colts players, which is going to be rough considering they're still holding on to the 7th seed in the AFC by a thread. The first one has to be running back Zach Moss. He has a forearm injury that's going to keep him out this week. Colts, also there's safety Julian Blackman, who's suffering a shoulder injury, and wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr., who's had a shoulder injury and is still been experiencing a relapse in his concussion symptoms from that hit he took from KZ from the Steelers 2 weeks ago. Other questionables as we go into the week: Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco is under concussion protocol, as well as the table that he was being examined on. That after it collapsed after he jumped on it during their game against the Raiders. You got Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle with an ankle injury. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, he suffered a stinger neck type injury in their loss to the Ravens. As did 49ers offensive tackle Trent Williams. He has a groin injury. Bears tight end Cole Kmet's dealing with a knee injury. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence has a shoulder injury. Two Broncos wide receivers, Cortland Sutton suffered a concussion, and Marvin Mims Jr. is dealing with a hamstring injury. And as well as they're also dealing with injury to their pride after the Patriots game, but we'll get to that. And also Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, questionable to go into the week. He's dealing with some sort of illness. It's going only reported just as that. He should be okay, though. I mean, if Jalen Hurts can play with basically the stomach bug he got from the Cowboys game, I think he'll be able to play. Going into signings and re-signings, the Bears haven't really done too much besides the Montez Sweat signing this year, but they have but whatever kicker Kairos Santos has been doing this year, they seem to like it, so they gave him a 4x4 contract extension, 4 years, $16 million.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yep, the Jaguars have signed former Giants practice squad quarterback Mac Bartley in case Lawrence does not start this week. Giants have also signed former free agent kicker Mason Crosby. I believe that's after the Graham Gano injury, or was it, Cade York injury. I'm still thinking that Graham Gano is still healthy for them. And dipping into trades and releases, the Broncos have waived safety Kareem Jackson after his multiple suspensions this year for illegal hits. And immediately after that, he was repicked up by the Texans. This is going to be his second stint with the team after he was first drafted by them in 2010 with a first-round pick. The only other release this week, the Chargers have waived defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day, and after going unclaimed, he is now officially a free agent. So if anyone's needs a defensive tackle, I mean, there's a reasonable option to pick up for something temporarily if you're missing hope on your D-line. Finally, going into other news this week, we've got some clinches. The Dolphins have finally clinched the AFC East after a pretty tough win over the Cowboys. And for the first time since 1993, the Detroit Lions have clinched their division, and not just the North. This is actually their first time clinching the North, because the last time they clinched the division, this was the NFC Central, because this was what the divisions looked like before.
Oh shit! No shot. Really?
Yeah, before Jacksonville, Carolina was in, they were in a NFC Central group that involved the Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings, and the Buccaneers. Don't ask me why that's in there. It's like putting the fucking all the Buffalo, New England, and Jets up in the East, even though the division of the AFC North involves teams way south of them.
Yeah, I think before we got to 32 teams, the divisions were all whack.
Case in point, Tampa Bay being a central team. But yeah, that's the clinches. And the eliminations this week, finally, The hype train with Tommy DeVito has died off with the Giants, as they have been officially eliminated. As are the Chargers, but fuck you, Spanos. We could really care less. Anyway, going on to other stuff, the Packers suspended cornerback Jair Alexander for 1 game for, they call his conduct detrimental to the team, because he went out for the coin toss despite not being a team captain, which I get him. And I mean, he did almost kind of fuck up the coin toss for them, but it doesn't seem like that big of a thing to get suspended a game over, in my opinion. If Gorlami was here, he'd probably be still pissed off about that and say something about it. The Falcons and head coach Arthur Smith have officially been fined by the league for violating the league's injury report policy regarding Bijan Robinson's designation during Week 7 when he was dealing with some sort of illness.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, it's not a big fine. It's like $75K to the team and $25 to Smith. Then finally, there's some interesting news revolving the Broncos. They are benching quarterback Russell Wilson in favor of backup Jared Stidham for the remainder of the year. This is apparently to possibly get out of a $35 million guarantee injury clause in his contract if he does not pass a physical by March, which he most likely will not still. I mean, it's football. You're going to get hurt and stay hurt no matter year round with the way how physical this game is. It's like the same injury clause that they gave to Kyler Murray when they put him back in the lineup in Arizona. And they apparently benched him after like being pressured into it by Sean Payton to have that shit removed from his contract, which he said he won't do. And there's also word now, furthermore, that a source close to the Broncos say that the team is going to be cutting Russell Wilson in March.
There's no way.
I don't see that either, but I mean, I don't know. No,
that's silly.
It would be a silly move. In fairness, I could see why you want to move on from him after the year and change you've had. That's a good question, actually. Who would want Russell Wilson after the 2 years he spent in Denver?
Well, not only
we'll
that,
finish the King of News and then we'll discuss that before we do the breakdown.
I've just got two things. The Raiders have officially tied the NFL record for fastest mark between 2 defensive touchdowns since 1970, with 7 seconds in between them. How that happened, we'll get to when we talk about the Chiefs game. And Broncos wide receiver Amari Cooper has just become the second wide receiver ever to reach 200-yard receiving seasons with 3 different teams. The only one other than him being the Hall of Famer Terrell Owens. So
famous Bengal, Terrell Owens.
Yeah, famous Bengal, famous Cowboy, famous Eagle. Well, maybe less famous Eagle. That's what quarterback. Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Was he a 49er? I forget.
Yes, he started out in the 49ers, I believe.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. But yeah.
Alrighty. So yeah, with that news of
Broncos.
Yes, the Broncos. They obviously want to save $35 million. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot as far as quarterback money. As far as money goes in the NFL, that could be multiple people's contracts for a couple years. $35 million could be probably an entire starting defensive line, so long as the guys aren't phenomenal. If you're getting like 3rd-round draft picks, and they're all 3rd-round draft picks in their rookie contracts, that's probably an entire defensive line, 4 guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Broncos
that's a lot of money.
I think they're at like less than $8 million for their current cap space right now going into the offseason.
Which is not good. You want to be able to garner attention of free agents. Now, the issue is, if they move on from Russell Wilson, who do they get? Do they draft somebody? Do they try to trade Russell Wilson for draft stock? Is Russell Wilson's contract expiring? Does he still have years left on it? Can they even trade him?
I mean, they are in a position where they could have a quarterback fall to them in the draft, but I mean,
there's a lot of quarterbacks.
They're not gonna have like a high draft pick.
No, they're not gonna have a high draft pick.
They're not getting Marvin. They're not getting Caleb Williams or Drake May. They're not that high in the roster right now.
But I mean, they could have a JJ McCarthy drop, to their level. They could even play the long game and try to get the Florida State quarterback that got injured, since he has to declare for the draft.
Yeah. According to PFF, they pick 14th currently.
That's literally mid-pack. So they could
Yeah.
also trade Wilson if possible for a higher draft pick. Wilson
That's
for
also true.
Fields? Would the Bears do that?
Move up to 8?
Probably not.
No, that would be stupid of them to do that.
Well, unless they pull the trigger on going for Caleb Williams, which also would be stupid when Marvin Harrison's on the board. You need a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, you take Marvin Harris.
I mean, can you
At least
believe
that's the smart move to do for the Bears.
Can you imagine DJ Moore as a wide receiver 2? Ooh.
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 Yeah, that would be a crazy.
That would be crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, so I think teams that would be interested in getting a good quarterback, honestly, even though I don't like to mention them because they beat my Bengals, Steelers. I feel like you need to move on from Kenny Pickett. He's not working. Mason Rudolph looked good in this game, to be fair, but also the Bengals are 0-5 against other AFC North teams this season, so whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. Well, they just extended Trubisky, so they'd have to move somebody on that roster. I don't think they're going to move Pickett because he's still under his rookie deal. I don't know if there's any trade clauses on that.
Well, you could also trade. You can trade. I believe you can trade in a rookie deal. I believe. I don't think that's against the rules, but at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Giants did that when they got rid of Kadarius Toney. So
right, but you could also trade Kenny Pickett to a team that needs a quarterback that's looking to rebuild with young players, like the Falcons. The Falcons might want to try out Kenny Pickett. I mean, they tried everybody else. So the Steelers, the Steelers never want to rebuild, obviously, Mike Tomlin. So why not go for Russell Wilson if you're trying to build a team that's going to be successful? Can they take that cap-wise? I think they can. I don't really know any guys that have huge contracts on their team except T.J. Watt and Cameron Hayward, maybe even Minkah Fitzpatrick. So, that's all defense side of the ball, and those guys aren't paid insane. So you might have the ability to get a guy like Russell Wilson there. Do you want him? That's the thing.
That's debatable. That depends what the quarterback market's going to look
Colts
like.
have Anthony Richardson. Falcons could get him if they want, but he seems a bit old for rebuild. Seahawks,
He's not going back to Seattle.
I don't think he's going back to Seattle. The Titans, Will Levis looks good. I don't think that's the best idea for him. Lions got Goff. Vikings could if they decide to move on from Kirk.
No, they're not moving on from Kirk. Hell no.
I don't know. I mean, this was his contract year, and he's up at the end of the season.
But also, you might be able to.
Than Russ. Come on.
You also might be able to re-sign Kirk Cousins for less now that he got hurt. So
that's true.
The Commanders, you're in a rebuild. You don't want any older quarterback. Jets have Rodgers coming back next year. Packers have Love. Panthers are still trying to get a young core going with Bryce Young. Browns. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
And Joe Flacco.
I wouldn't put it past them to pick up another quarterback and make their decision even worse, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Even after they picked up Dorian Thompson-Robinson last year?
Yeah. I think they just cut him this year. I believe they just
recently...
He's hurt. Oh, he's hurt. No,
I literally just had him in the list, yeah.
Yeah. Texans, obviously Stroud looked amazing. No, but Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence still looks good when he's healthy, so I don't think it's there. Buccaneers, if Mayfield stays, hell no. Cardinals, you're probably keeping Murray, so no. Bears, if you want to move on from Fields and trade down in the draft maybe to get him, I don't think it's a good idea, so they're not going to do it there. Cowboys have Dak. Dolphins have Tua. Patriots, that could be a good option.
I don't want.
I know. You're saying no.
You don't want
Mr. Unlimited on this team.
Mr. Unlimited. I just would love this, and it's just like Patriots country. Let's ride.
Broncos country.
We already are basically on fire, essentially. They're going to burn everything down at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think the only piece that might stay is Zappy with the performance he's been giving.
So
maybe just kick the can down the road. I don't know.
Patriots might take him. That would be kind of cool. I mean, obviously, he won't have Belichick, though, there, because apparently Belichick's on the way out. Raiders could, but also I think they're looking to rebuild. I think the only pieces they're probably going to be keeping that are a little older are Crosby. Chiefs have Mahomes. The Giants don't have the space after paying Daniel Jones inordinate amounts of money. The Eagles have Hurts.
As well
the Ravens have Lamar.
As well as the ones to Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence, too.
Yeah.
Spent like $400 million in contracts this year.
So the Giants don't have space. They might want them, but they don't have space. The Eagles have Hurts, the Ravens have Lamar, and the Niners have Purdy. So I don't think. I mean, we didn't look at these first two. The Saints.
Yeah, I was gonna say
if
the
they
Saints
move on from
are...
Carr, maybe, and if
would they move on Carr though?
He's been a problem in the locker room apparently. So
really,
yes. There have been games. There have been 2 times in a game where his linemen have been held back shouting at him at Carr. So something's happening, and I think the only way the Rams take him is if Stafford retires. Even then, though, I don't think they would, because they would probably want to rebuild, because Cooper Kupp's still young. Puka Nacua is probably one of the best young receivers. And besides, who's the Boston College receiver on the Ravens?
Zay Flowers.
Besides Zay Flowers, he looks like the best rookie receiver. So they're not, and also their running back is like the Rams' offense just like sprouted out of the ground in front of everyone. Their defense, however, is just Aaron Donald and a bunch of fucking nobodies. So good luck there. But
it's mostly just that O-line. Their secondary is kind of meh at the moment. Yeah. They're like in the same, like the West Coast version of the Eagles. Like it's a good front 4, and then the rest is kind of just meh.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get into some of the coverages. We'll start. We already did the Saints and Rams, so we'll start with the Bills and Chargers.
There is actually something funny I kind of read about this game before we get into it. There's apparently a unknown written thing in the U.S. Constitution that says Mike Tomlin cannot finish with a losing season.
Yeah.
So that's my only way that can explain how this game happened.
I was at a friend's house having like a friend's Thanksgiving, and I was inconsolable. This was horrible. 34-11, the final score from Heinz Field. It's still called Heinz Field. Fuck you. Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati. Cincinnati falls to 0-5 against the other teams in the AFC North. And we're 8-2 against teams outside of it. So I don't know what's going on. We can beat the Niners, but we can't beat the Steelers.
Mason Rudolph led Steelers too.
Mason Rudolph was a starting quarterback. So Browning, 28 for 42 for 335, 8-yard average, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 3 sacks, a 69 rating. Not nice.
Nice.
Mixon, 11 for 43, Brown, 4 for 16, and Jake Browning, 1 for nothing for rushing. Receiving, T. Higgins, 5 for 140 and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd, 5 for 59. Drew Sample, 3 for 38. Trent Irwin, 4 for 37. Andreas Silvas, 4 for 36. Chase Brown, 2 for 8. And Joe Mixon, 2 for 7. We didn't have any Jamar Chase. One of the other reasons it could have been detrimental there. But again, if this isn't any reason why we need to keep T. Higgins to have a great receiver core, this is why. 5 for 140 and a touchdown, moving into the wide receiver 1 spot against a very good Steelers defense is reason enough for this guy to get big money from us this upcoming offseason. Mason Rudolph,
he's going to be in high demand too.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph, 17 for 27 for 290, a 10.7 average, 2 touchdowns, 1 sack, 124 rating. Najee Harris, 19 for 78 and a touchdown. Jalen Warren, 8 for 24. Calvin also third, 1 for 7. Mason Rudolph, 2 for 4. Receiving, George Pickens, 4 for 195 and 2 touchdowns. He also, one of the things I thought was kind of funny, he had 2 mouthpieces. One was red, one was green for like Christmas. I thought that was kind of funny. Allen Robinson, 4 for 36. Jalen Warren, 5 for 30. Deontay Johnson, 2 for 15. Darnell Washington, 1 for 8. And Miles Boykin, 1 for 6. There was also a screenplay that was done for Pickens, because last week against the Colts, he wasn't blocking well for Jalen Warren. Received a lot of attention for that. And so this week, there was a screenplay for George Pickens. Even though Jalen Warren backed George Pickens up last week saying I'd block for him, George Pickens caught the screen, and Jalen Warren flat out flattened Jermaine Pratt, middle linebacker for the Bengals, for Pickens to score. So that's something that the league has been talking about. I think this game, people are saying this is the end of the Jake Browning, Linsanity run, and I feel like this year has been the Linsanity year for football. Do you guys kind of agree with me here? There's every few weeks there's a guy that's just he's back, or he's good, or he's coming out of nowhere.
DeVito, you had
DeVito,
Josh
Dobbs, Jake Browning. We're in the Flacco arc right now.
The Flacco arc.
So
you can also argue the Bailey Zappi one. He hasn't looked terrible in his couple starts he's had the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, but every so often there's a quarterback that are just hey, this guy, and then it's done. Oh, this guy, he's done, and this guy, it's been the Linsanity year, I feel like, in football. And I think it's honestly Brock Purdy's fault, because last year everyone was oh, this guy's incredible. He's the last pick in the draft. He's coming up. He beats
Drew
Brady
Lock
in his
also
first
had-
start. You know,
Drew Lock also
Lock,
had one against the Eagles, yeah.
and Will Levis.
Yep.
Like
And Will
I'm
Levis.
not crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. What? But like
I'm not crazy, as they say to a disembodied voice.
yeah, it's been an insanity year. I feel like just the amount of guys that have shown up, and I mean, we don't know if this is the end. Like maybe Josh Dobbs' like pass or not days are already over because he hasn't even started the past few games. You know, DeVito was concussed and hasn't really come back and looked well from that. Browning had his first bad start of a game.
Aaron Rodgers kind of had a Derrick Rose year where he comes into a new team with super hype and then gets injured.
Well, Derrick Rose got hurt on the Bulls.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. The basketball fan, that still hurts me. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it's been weird. I mean, I don't know if Browning is like going to be bad now. I mean, he didn't look as horrible besides the picks. 335 yards is fine, but like, there was a couple bad decisions, and he's a younger guy. So, but yeah, I'm just really hoping that even if we get into the playoffs, the big thing I want to do this offseason is like keep everybody that we have, especially T. Higgins. We really need to give Joe Burrow as many options as we can, and then just we need to draft the tight end this year. I'm tired of like looking at Michael Mayer in Las Vegas and being like, why isn't that us? So Brock Bowers should be a Bengal. He should so be a Bengal. But
You
yeah,
know my feeling on the matter. I'm just saying.
congrats to the Steelers. If you win one more game, you won't finish below 500. You'll get into the playoffs and you'll get mollywopped by somebody, probably the Ravens. So, yeah. Fuck, I hate Pittsburgh.
It's just been a weird year, man.
Yeah.
Looking great.
Truly
I mean,
has.
when I mean, the injury bug got us last year. It got us this year. I feel like. I mean, last
Got
year,
you last year?
yeah,
This year?
Lyle
Look at the Patriots
Collins, Chidobe Awuzie.
Matthew
So-
Judon, Christian Gonzalez, Connor McDermott, Trent Brown, Kendrick Bourne.
It's
Need I
still
say
nothing
more?
to the Browns. It's still nothing to the Browns this year. Still nothing to the Browns this year. Good.
Browns
good
have
golly.
been pretty hit with
Yeah.
injuries this year.
A really close game that really shouldn't have been. Browns 24, Chargers 22. That's the final score from SoFi Stadium. Chargers officially eliminated in this game. Josh Allen 15 for 21 for 237, 11.3 average, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 sack, a 104.7 rating. On the ground, James Cook was cooking 20 for 70. Leonard Fournette 5 for 20. Yes, that Leonard Fournette. And Josh Allen 5 for 15 and 2 touchdowns. For the first time in a while, Josh Allen is third in the rushing yardage leaders for his team. They ran very well. Gabe Davis went off. He goes off. He's like a bad alarm clock. He's right once a day, and this was the right time for him. 4 for 130 for a touchdown. Khalil Shakir 3 for 45. Stephon Diggs 4 for 29. Dawson Knox 2 for 26. And Dalton Kincaid 1 for 7. There were a couple fumbles. James Cook still needs to work on his carrying ability. A lot of times he does give up the ball. But the Chargers were not able to capitalize as well as they would like. Easton Stick, not the company, 22 for 33 for 215, 6.5 average, no touchdowns, no picks, 5 sacks, and 87.3 rating. Austin Eckler, 15 for
Sheesh.
65, Easton Stick, 7 for 25. Nobody else had over 8 yards or more rushing.
Yeah, I saw this game at the casino.
their only
I
offensive
was just
touchdown.
like, why is this close? This makes no
Yeah.
sense.
So it's the Bills' defense. It's been very wishy-washy the second half of the year.
Yeah.
Even to
East-
guys like Easton Stick, of all fucking people.
He did, as far as receiving, Joshua Palmer 5 for 47, Joe Devitt 7 for 42, Alex Erickson 2 for 31, Quentin Johnson 2 for 29, Stone Smart 1 for 23, Austin Eckler 3 for 21, Jalen Gutton 1 for 12, Darius Davis 1 for 6, and Isaiah Spiller 1 for 4. The Chargers are in a rough spot, I feel like, because as soon as Keenan Allen retires, which I think he's getting towards that era, and then Justin Herbert requests a trade or doesn't re-sign because I think he's tired of this O-line, getting him battered.
I
And
think he's just
Austin,
tired of the entirety of.
What just happened?
Garlami joined for a second. Then Austin Eckler's getting older, and then that leaves you two or three big names on defense: Derwin James, Khalil Mack, and Joey Bosa, who all haven't looked great this season. So the Chargers, I think, are on the brink of, going back to a very dark post-Phillip Rivers time.
Their whole time has been dark throughout their existence. I mean, like
It's
after
been
the Don
dim.
Coryell era.
It's been dim and not dark. I'm a Bengals fan. I know dark. I know post-Andy Dalton, pre-Joe Burrow days. That's dark. The Chargers are not dark right now. It's dim. Obviously, a little bit more dim than normal, but it's not dark. It's not the 2008 Lions.
That was a year.
Yes, that is the darkest it can get. Bengals have been close to that many times, some of which have been within my lifespan, and I've had to witness it. So, Chargers, I think, are teetering on the brink of total, utter calamity, and it is not pretty.
You know what would have helped this? Not moving out of San Diego.
And also not
Fuck
hiring
you, Spanos.
and not hiring fucking Brandon Staley.
Fuck you, Spanos.
Yeah.
Basically, all you just need to do is kill off Spanos, move the team back to San Diego. All will be better.
Yeah.
It won't be, but it'll definitely help.
Phillip Rivers for head coach. That guy can head coach as well as he can play. No ACLs in the AFC Championship.
No, I actually like that. I was laughing for a second, but that actually doesn't sound terrible.
It's not a bad idea, but
I mean, yeah.
Be interesting.
The funniest thing I think about, though, is Phillip Rivers is also, like, tough enough on people that he could be a head coach. Like, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think would yell at guys enough to be a head coach. Maybe not, but, like...
Oh, I just thought of something funny. What if he says no, I don't want to go coach for the Chargers and goes to the Giants?
That would be funny. Oh, my.
That would be hilarious.
It's a complete reverse from 2004.
Yeah, that would be. That would totally be. All right. But yeah, Bills, I mean, your defense looked horrible, but your offense was well balanced. One of the better run games I've seen for the Bills in a while. So good job there.
Josh Allen's consistency shining through yet again.
Yep, and that's moving on from the 2 Saturday games, moving into the Christmas Eve games on Sunday. I want to talk to you guys about this because I think I said this.
Decked the Colts.
Real quick, we'll rewind it just a second. I liked the schedule for these games, especially watching these on Christmas was amazing. I think that this is something the NFL should do. I think we talked about this season or last season of the Football Stooges, but I feel like having games on Christmas, a 3-game slate on Christmas, just like Thanksgiving, would be great.
Yeah,
it was actually good. Yeah.
And this was a Monday game. The NFL doesn't have this day. They could have had 1 game at night, but they did 3 games. The NBA obviously complained. Didn't matter. We still had more viewers. So
yeah, they could complain all they want. What are they gonna do, huh?
Yeah, people say Christmas is for basketball. Like, there's a bunch of games on during Christmas, but like more of the NFL is just so tailored for media that it's so much easier. It's 1 game a week, multiple different days that it could be on. It is tailored for the media. It is better. Basketball has 82 games. Obviously, like you said, Mama, the refereeing has gone horribly the last few little bits.
NBA,
Yep. There's a lot of things to monitor about the NFL has so much coverage, so easy to follow.
Yeah,
it's on the weekends.
My aunt, the Celtics super fan, has been complaining all about it the whole time I was at her house for Christmas.
Yeah. So I think the NFL should have 3 games on Christmas in the same style as the Thanksgiving games. Now, what do you think the 2 teams should always be that play on Christmas? Because for
Chicago Bears.
Ooh.
Because for Thanksgiving, it's the Lions and the Cowboys always. I think it should be teams that have that Christmassy vibe, cold weather games. So I'm thinking the New England
Bills.
Well, I have 3 teams that I'm thinking about. That could, Bills, Patriots, Packers.
Packers definitely could do it. I don't know if the Patriots would want to do it. Maybe.
I mean, I think the Packers and the Bills feel like the best option to me.
Yeah. Considering how last Christmas went for the Patriots compared to this one, it's a 50-50 slot. I'll take either or if we do it.
Yeah. So the only issue that would reside in this is Thanksgiving games are always on Thursdays because Thanksgiving is set up to be on a Thursday. Christmas games can be any day of the week. So the Christmas day can be a Monday, it can be a Sunday, whatever. It's easy if it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or even a Thursday. That fits into the start of the NFL week or the tail end. The issue comes in when it's a Tuesday game or a Wednesday game. So I feel like the biggest issue would arise when it's those games, if it's a Tuesday or Wednesday. So you would have to fit those in as being the last game or the first game of the week. So you'd have a really short week on one end, but a really long week on the other. It would have to work out decently, and I think you might have to organize breaks. That would have to be set up properly. You would have to organize, or not breaks, but like bye weeks. Bye weeks would have to be set up so you have a bye week before your Christmas game, just because there's just so much short time if it's a Wednesday or Tuesday style game. But anyway, that's down the line. That's what I would do if I were commissioner, and there'd be a lot of other things, and NFL would probably be worse or better because of it. So
This game.
Colts, what the fuck, man? You come out and you
Come on,
beat the
bro.
Steelers and you lose the Falcons by 19. Yikes. 29-10, the final score from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Falcons get the win. For the Colts, Gardner, Uncle Rico, Minshew, 20 for 37 for 201, a 5.4 average, no touchdowns, 1 pick, 6 sacks, a 58.5 rating. Jonathan Taylor was back, didn't look great. 18 for 43 in the touchdown. Gardner Minshew also ran the ball 4 for 31. Tyler Goodson 1 for 15. Trey Sermon 2 for 3. Receiving, Kylan Granson 5 for 62. Will Malroy 4 for 47. Josh Downs 6 for 39. Alec Pierce 3 for 30. Tyler Godson 1 for 15. And DJ Montgomery 1 for 8. No Michael Pittman Jr. as he was bent in half from the head to the toes by a dirty hit from a Pittsburgh player last week. They got him suspended for the year.
Monte Casey.
Yeah, so that hurts. Again, Indianapolis Colts struggling with injuries a lot this year. Definitely not the worst. They aren't the Patriots or the Browns, but it's also not great. For the Falcons, Taylor Hennessy, 22 for 33 for 229, a 6.9 average, 1 touchdown, no picks, 1 sack, a 99.2 rating. A good performance from an Atlanta Falcons quarterback for the first time since Matt Ryan, not in a Super Bowl. Bijan Robinson, 12 for 72, Tyler Algier, 9 for 69 and a touchdown, Cordell Patterson, 7 for 26, Taylor Hennessy, 2 for 10. For receiving, Robinson 7 for 50, Kyle Pitts 3 for 49 and a touchdown, Drake London 3 for 39, John Smith 4 for 32, Tyler Algier 1 for 19, Scott Miller 1 for 15, Van Jefferson 1 for 13, Cordell Patterson 2 for 7, and Cardale Hodge 1 for 5. A big issue I think with the Colts in this game is that their offense couldn't stay on the field long enough to give their defense a break. The Colts defense was able to do enough to kind of slow down Bijan in the aerial assault, but on running the ball, Bijan had 72, Algier had 69, Cordell Patterson had 26 at however old he is now. So they were definitely hurting, trying to stop the run. The time of possession was heavily in the Falcons' favor. And the Colts are struggling with what all young teams struggle with is inconsistency and inability to produce late in the season, which is when you really want to be at your peak. So, yeah, kind of a shame too for Bijan. I feel like he could definitely be a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He definitely, I think, has the most raw talent, if you catch my drift, out of
But they
any
don't
of
use
these.
them properly.
Yeah, they don't use him properly, and they kind of use him too much also, so he gets really focused on because their quarterback isn't able to distribute the ball as well. Even though he has a decent amount of receivers around him, Pitts does look good when he's consistently performing well. London also pretty consistent. So, you know, but for the Colts, not what you want to do. Thankfully, everyone in the AFC South lost, so you're all in a three-way fucking tie for first place. That's coming down to now strength of schedule and opponent record. So you're not out of the race yet, but you certainly didn't help your fucking chances. You could be sitting atop the division here if you were to beat one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, but you couldn't get that done. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good performance. Not a good performance from the Colts here, and it's going to hurt them a lot. But going forward, you need to have everyone healthy. You need to get Pittman back. You need to get Moss back. Have that two-back rotation with him and Taylor. So
I think Pittman will be back, if I heard
I think so.
correctly.
yeah, if he clears concussion protocol, he'll be fine.
Because
But
that
yeah.
man was murdered.
Yes, that was the most hit I've seen since, Mike White was sawn in half by Matt Milano last year.
Oh, yeah, that was a brutal one.
Never seen a man's body bend like a C from Sesame Street. Just fucking.
I've been seeing that happen to too many guys this year where their knees bend like the number 7. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Seattle Seahawks 20, Tennessee Titans 17. The final score from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Geno Smith for the Seahawks, 25 for 36 for 227, a 6.3 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 3 sacks, a 104.7 rating. He's starting despite Drew Lock last week having the game of his life in the NFL. Probably just wanted to keep Geno Smith healthy for a late playoff push for Seattle. They're still 8-7 and 4th in their division, second to last. So they might still be able to squeak in because of wild cards, but the NFC West looking a lot better than people would have expected this year. Kenneth Walker the third, rushing 16 for 54. No one else had over 3 yards rushing. Then for receiving, Tyler Lockett 8 for 81. Jackson Smith-Njigba 6 for 61. DK Metcalf 4 for 56 and a touchdown. Cody Parkinson 3 for 17 and a touchdown. Bobo 1 for 8 and Will Dissly 1 for 6. For the Titans, Ryan Tannehill 18 for 26 for 152, a 5.8 average, no touchdowns, no picks, 6 sacks, and 84.1 rating. The only touchdown was thrown by Derrick Henry on a 12-yard dot to Kugozim Okonkwo. Henry also was the leading rusher, 88 yards, 19 carries, 1 touchdown. Tajay Spears, 9 for 40, and Ryan Tannehill, 2 for 37. Receiving, Okonkwo, as I said before, 6 for 63 and a touchdown. Tajay Spears, 5 for 27. Traylon Burks, 2 for 25. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 for 20, and Derrick Henry, 1 for 11. This was kind of a shootout in a weird way. Titans defense wasn't able to stop the Seahawks enough. The Seahawks defense stopped the Titans here and there, mainly because Tannehill kind of stopped himself. So, yeah, kind of an ugly game in many ways. Teams made a lot of mistakes. Yeah. Neither of them look like they're playoff ready, even if you're the Seahawks. Like only winning by 3 against the Titans, who are 5-10 now. Yikes! Something's got to be righted around the Seahawks way if they want to be really performing in the playoffs and competing. So, stuff's got to change there. But good to see Geno Smith back and healthy, and at least Drew Lock behind him can seem like he's going to perform well. Not much more to talk about this. Again, Titans were without Will Levis, who's kind of been their spark plug this year. Alrighty, and as we said earlier, for the first time since, what was it, the 50s or something?
Yeah. 93.
Or not 50s, 90s. This is a 93. The Lions had clinched the NFC North, beating the Vikings 30-24.
I wasn't even alive last time they did that.
Yeah, neither was I.
None of us were. Yeah.
Macedon probably was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 30-24, the final score. Jared Goff, 30 for 40 for 257 for a 6.4 average, 1 touchdown, no pick, 1 sack, and 99.7 rating. On the ground, the two-back monster of Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery went off. Gibbs, 15 for 80 and 2 touchdowns. Montgomery, 17 for 55 and a touchdown. I haven't seen a two-back rotation that scary since prime Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, or Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Like, this two-back rotation in Detroit looks nasty as fuck. This is just...
Yeah, we're all laughing at them for picking a running back during the draft, and just look what happened.
Yeah, he's the RB1 now. He is the RB1.
We're laughing more at the Atlanta for drafting Bijan Robinson that high. Not that it hasn't worked out for them. But Gibbs was definitely another head-scratcher at the time.
Yep. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 12 for 106 and a touchdown in the air. Jameson Williams, 5 for 43. Khalif Raymond, 2 for 29. Jamar Gibbs, 4 for 20. Sam Laporta, 3 for 18. And Josh Reynolds, 1 for 6. As well, Dave Montgomery, 2 for 14. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, also 1 for 11, coming in down there. Nick Mullins, 22 for 36 for 411 yards, 11.4 average, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks, 4 sacks, 79.5 rating. On the ground, nothing much going. Ty Chandler, 8 for 17, and that was it for anyone rushing over a yard. Justin Jefferson, 6 for 141 and a touchdown. KJ Osborne, 5 for 95 and a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, 4 for 58 and a touchdown. And sadly, that is his last stats of the season. He will not play in the final 2 games this season due to a ACL and MCL injury, as Kate have talked about earlier. Brandon Powell, 3 for 53. Josh Oliver, 1 for 33. Johnny Munt, 1 for 23. CJ Hamlin for 6, and Jordan Addison, 1 for 2. Lions got the job done. Definitely their secondary needs some work. Obviously, the loss of TJ Gardner-Johnson early in the year was not one that was going to help them, but that's going to really hurt them come playoff time when some of the best teams have a great passing offense. But letting Nick Mullins dot you up for 400 yards despite the 4 interceptions is still like woo-wee. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's definitely a iffy one for the Minnesota.
Yeah. Minnesota, I believe, are they eliminated now?
Minnesota, I think they're skirting on elimination, but
Yeah,
it's
they're in that, like,
definitely a
low
lot harder to make it.
statistical improbable kind of level of thinking.
Yeah, you know what would have helped? Not starting Nick Mullins.
Well, yeah. I mean, they have not a ton of other options. They've already given up on Dobbs already, which I feel like is a little early, but
Yeah, they have said, actually, I missed it, that they're benching Mullins for the remainder of the year, and Jaron Hall is going to be starting for them this coming week.
God, they're just trying anything.
So they're just trying anything. Exactly.
Oh my God.
They're
Breaking
anything
news:
to try
Tom
and-
Brady's come out of retirement for a one-game, $1
I don't
million
even like this.
pay cut.
Oh, bro. Jinx it.
Yeah, don't do that to him.
But Goff played very well. No interceptions from him. Great performance. Again, the two-headed monster at running back for the Lions looked great. 4 sacks was a great job from the Detroit defense. Romeo Okonkwo got one. You had 2 from Melfonwu, I believe. And then another one for Brian Branch. So
Branch has been a good pickup for them.
yeah. So good work there by the Lions defense to really put the pressure on Mullins, which again, young, inexperienced quarterbacks don't like that. And also shutting down the run. I know obviously it was Alexander Mattinson didn't do too much till he was hurt, and Ty Chandler came in and they still gave him 8 carries, only 17 yards. That's a 2.1 average. Great job by the interior linemen and linebackers shutting down that running ability for the Vikings, really limiting them to only passing. Now your issue is you got to cover guys like Jefferson, which is easier said than done. But again, you got the win. You won the NFC North. Great job. Definitely some things to pinpoint and try to fix going into playoff season. All right. Next up, this is the game that I said wanted to end in a tie, and it nearly did. I don't know how long I'm going to talk about this one, but 30-28 the final score. Jets get the win by 2 against the Commanders. Ron Rivera's checked out. The Jets are without Rodgers and an offense in any shape of the word. I will say, though, Breece Hall is a workhorse. 20 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, in the air, 12 receptions, 96 yards. Looked phenomenal. Trevor Siemian still can't hit the broadside of a barn with a pebble. Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell both looked horrible in this game. Sam Howell went 6 for 22. If that doesn't make you wince, I don't know what will, and you're probably a Commanders fan. So I don't want to look at this any longer. I don't know if any of you guys do. The Jets are 6-9.
Keep her moving. Keep her
going.
Yeah.
Jets almost jetted, and Commanders
almost jettisoned.
Jettisoned into the freeway.
Into the Hudson again.
Oh, God.
I was watching this game while opening Christmas presents at my in-laws, and it was a fun game to watch because to see the reactions as the Panthers inched back closer.
Jeez,
Before we go further, let me just quote something that I know one of our friends isn't here to say.
Fire Joe Barry.
Yeah, fire Joe Barry. My wife is fist pumping in unison with that statement. 33-30, the final score. A lot further apart in scoring as it should have been. The Panthers only started to pull in closer towards the second half of the game, scoring 14 points in the final quarter. But still, the Packers got out there with the win. Jordan Love, 17 for 28 for 219, a 7.8 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 1 sack, a 109.1 rating. Aaron Jones, 21 for 127 on the ground. An amazing rushing performance from him. Receiving, Romeo Dobbs, 4 for 79, a touchdown. Tucker Kraft, 4 for 60. Bo Melton, 4 for 44. Dontavian Wicks, 2 for 29, a touchdown. And Aaron Jones, 1 for 8. For the Panthers, Bryce Young, 23 for 36 for 312, an 8.7 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks, a 110.0 rating. On the ground, Chuba Hubbard, 16 for 43 and a touchdown. Amir Smith-Marset, 2 for 33 and a touchdown. And Bryce Young, 4 for 17. Receiving, DJ Chark, 6 for 98 and 2 touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 6 for 94. Tommy Tremble, 4 for 59. Stephen Sullivan, 3 for 21. Amir Smith-Marset, 1 for 8. Jonathan Mingo, 1 for 9. Chuba Hubbard, 1 for 8. And Miles Sanders, 1 for 5. Late in the game, the Panthers were driving. They're basically the same team. They both suck. We're driving down the field, and again, play calling from Joe Barry was horrible.
What else is new?
Yeah, the Panthers were able to drive up the field, but they had no timeouts left. There was under 2 minutes left. Actually, under a minute left. They got a big pass down the field and were not able to clock it in time. If they would have clocked it in time, they would have had a 40-plus yard field goal, which would have tied the game and possibly sent it to overtime. The Panthers, the Panthers special teams unit usually is very, very successful. They had the special teams player of the week a couple weeks ago, or actually I believe last week. He did miss 2 extra points this week, as well as one from Anders Carlson, who's looked like a disaster for Green Bay's kicking. So a horrible extra point kicking in this game and around the NFL this week entirely. But at the same time, that Eddie Pinheiro might have been able to hit it and send it to overtime, which would have been catastrophic because all the momentum would have been for Carolina and its, sold out crowd of 12 fans and their kids.
I swear Green Bay was trying to throw just to say "fuck you, Bears" or "fuck them picks."
Yeah, I mean, if the Packers weren't in contention for a playoff spot, they should lose this game.
Just a big fuck you to the Bears.
Yeah, they should.
Well, thank you, Packers, for winning. That's the only time I'm going to say that on this podcast.
So, yeah, Packers really need to address the defensive woes and struggles. And another thing we'll talk about here that my wife mentioned that I saw, which perplexed me. Packers cornerback, Jair Alexander. I said cornerback. Yeah, cornerback, defensive back. He's from Charlotte. Jair Alexander went out with the captains for the coin toss, called the coin toss, won it, and deferred. He was not listed as a captain. He went out on his own accord, and his teammates didn't exactly tell him, stop or don't. They kind of were like, the fuck are you doing out here? Because of this, he is being benched next week by the team against their game against the Vikings, who have this guy named, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I mentioned that when he said he was suspended.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah, which is...
In a way, it's both bullshit, and you both get it. Because, say that coin toss didn't go the way you called it, and you caused your team possibly detrimental damage to your team's game plan going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he asked the coaching staff, "Hey, can I be a captain? I'm from Charlotte."
From the sounds of it, no, he didn't.
So, I don't know what exactly. I don't know what exactly he was thinking he was doing there.
Well, he's definitely a rookie, so he said, I just thought we were all going out there to hang out or something. This close to game time? No.
So, I mean, I think from a Packers perspective, it would have been better to fine him because you kind of need a guy like him to guard Jefferson because now at cornerback, you're starting 2 7th-round picks. And Justin Jefferson is playing. Now, Packers are my favorite NFC team, so that doesn't bode well for there. But also, Justin Jefferson's on my fantasy team, and I'm playing Muzzy this week. So hopefully, Jay Jettas takes those 7th-round picks and turns them into, mashed potatoes and gets, 25-plus fantasy points. I'd love that.
Under Joe Barry, they're definitely going to get 25 points off of that.
Who knows? So, but again, dumb move by Jair, dumb move by the Packers to bench him and not find him, in my opinion. But again, I don't think he'll be a Packer much longer.
If they keep making a decision like that, neither will be Brian Gutekunst. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, not great. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next game, which was another Joe Flacco masterclass.
The guys that are like, yeah, Lamar's good, but something about Flacco that I miss. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there was something I trusted more about Flacco.
Look at that. He's 38.
Dude has a cannon for an arm.
On the run, off one foot, across his body.
There's a photo of him with
look at the pocket presence. Look at the pocket presence in there.
Yeah.
Dot.
Dude's flying American Airlines.
Hit as he throws.
Hit as he throws straight to Njoku. Big surprise.
Who also has been having a career year. Let's not forget that.
Thanks to Flacco.
That was a absolute laser.
Well, Flacco's only been in for 2-3 weeks. This is
Flacco's gonna target his tight ends more.
True.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me, man. I feel like a 10-year-old kid out there.
Good
You guys
Flacco.
won this for me, man.
You guys won this. So 36-22, the final score. The CJ Stroudless Houston Texans fall once again now to 8-7 against the Browns, who have a chance to be the number 1 seed in the AFC still. If they win out, which they just won recently against the Jets, and if Baltimore loses out and they get a victory from the Dolphins next week and a loss the week after, the AFC will run through Cleveland, which makes me want to vomit. But
That is insane because I did
That
not
would've
have
been-
the Browns making the playoffs at all this year, especially with the earlier injuries. Deshaun Watson had to start the season.
God,
not even to mention
Forgot
they
the
lost
whole
one of their
shoulder
best
shit.
linemen.
Dude.
That
Joel
too.
Petito is like out for the year,
Antonio done for
early
the
in the
year.
season with a
Chubb.
knee injury.
Chubb
Chubb's
was also a
out.
big impact to their running game. It's been brutal. Luckily for them, Jerome Ford stepped forward. So
Oh yeah, Ward's looked great. But yeah,
Speaking of
final
which-
score 36-22. The final score: Browns. Joe Flacco 27 for 42 for 368 yards, 8.8 average, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. You know, you can't be absolutely perfect. 96.1. Thompson himself came in late and threw 1 for 2 for 6 yards. Jerome Ford, 15 for 25 on the ground for 1 touchdown. Pierre Strong, 5 for 22. And Kareem Hunt, 7 for 11. This stat line's real. Amari Cooper receiving 11 for 265. His average reception was a 24-yarder. 2 touchdowns. His longest was a 75-yard touchdown. Had 15 targets total. Njoku 6 for 44 and a touchdown. Elijah Moore 2 for 19. Jordan Atkins 2 for 18. Cedric Tillman 2 for 13. Harrison Bryant 1 for 6, and David Bell 1 for 6. It was
Nuts.
yeah, nuts.
Nuts. It's
Yeah.
literally nuts.
Absolutely nuts. That was so many fantasy points. Who even had Amari Cooper?
I did, but on the bench because I was thinking he wasn't going to be good that day.
oh, you
Well, I
missed
picked
How
him.
many
I
I missed?
picked up no, because I picked him up in free agency as like a backup in case like something happened to. I think it was.
I think if you started him, you'd be
Tyreek.
playing me right now.
True.
Well, he's out now.
You left some points on the board. I'm telling you right now, man.
Bro,
Yeah.
if I had him, I would have been in the playoffs. I would have been in the championship game.
Let's actually go to the app. See exactly how much you left on that.
Yeah.
40 points.
40 points.
A 40-pointer. Oh, that's 2 good games from a tight end, or 2 good
Yep.
games from a receiver or running back.
I'm on a double dosage of antidepressant pills now.
He's sucking on that copium.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Texans, Davis Mill, 15 for 32, 149, a 4.7 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, and 84.1 rating. Case came in later, 11 for 17 for 62 yards, that's 3.6 average, 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, a 31.6 rating. Rushing, Devin Singletary, 9 for 44, Davis Mills, 2 for 9, Robert Woods, 1 for 7, Dare Ogunbale, 1 for 6, and Damian Pierce, 3 for 6. For receiving, Dalton Schultz, 8 for 61, Noah Brown, 3 for 38, Brevin Jordan, 2 for 27, Devin Singletary, 3 for 19, Nico Collins, 4 for 18 and a touchdown, Xavier Hutchinson, 1 for 18, Robert Woods, 2 for 14, Damon Pierce, 1 for 10, Andrew Beck, 2 for 6. The Texans are struggling, again, young team. Health and consistency late in the season are 2 big things they're going to struggle with. They've struggled with that. No Tank Dell, no CJ Stroud, and the consistency from their defense to be able to stop one motherfucker from torching them like crazy was not there. Amari Cooper ran all over them. And Joe Flacco had an amazing game I say amazing for 38-year-old. Still threw 2 picks and went 27 for 42. So a very good game from Flacco, an amazing game from Amari Cooper, and the Browns look dangerous despite not having their starting running back, quarterback, and one of their starting all-pro, Pro Bowl linemen. So, is hell freezing over? The Browns still haven't won the Super Bowl yet, so I don't think so, not yet, but it might be getting a little frosty.
I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll
I mean,
find out.
As I said, they could be the number one team in the AFC with everything going right. And all that requires is them to win 2 games, Jacksonville to lose 2, and the Miami Dolphins to win, then lose.
If Lawrence doesn't start this week, that's definitely a possibility if if Jacksonville can't pull it off.
Yeah. The biggest thing is the Ravens losing. It's all up to the Ravens. Anything changing in the AFC is all depending on what the Ravens do. All right. Next up, Jags and Buccaneers. The Jags are struggling, and it's not a good time for them to struggle.
It's the injury to Lawrence that's hampering them hard right now.
Yeah, but even then, their defense has been worse than usual. 12-30, the final score from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Trevor Lawrence, 17 for 29 for 211, a 7.3 average, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 3 sacks, 64.0 rating. CJ Beathard came in 11 for 15 for 94, 1 touchdown, 1 sack, 111.5 rating. On the ground, Lawrence was the lead rusher, 4 for 29. Travis Etienne, 6 for 12, a 2-yard average carry. CJ Beathard, 1 for 6, and James Johnson, 1 for 2. Vita Vea is a scary motherfucker, I'll just say that. Evan Ingram, 10 for 95. Calvin Ridley, 6 for 90 and 2 touchdowns. Elijah Cooks, 3 for 38. Tim Jones, 3 for 32. Parker Washington, 2 for 19. Travis Etienne, 3 for 19. And Jamal Agnew, 1 for 12. For the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, 26 for 35 for 283, an 8.1 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks, a 116.7 rating. Rushing, Rachaad White, 20 for 39 and a touchdown. Chase Edmonds, 10 for 25. Baker Mayfield, 5 for 5, and Chris Godwin, 1 for 1. Receiving, Mike Evans, 7 for 86 and 2 touchdowns. Very, very good touchdowns. Like, the catches were incredible. Chris Godwin, 6 for 78. Trey Palmer, 4 for 42. Rachaad White, 6 for 38. And Payne Durham, 1 for 25. An onslaught for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense was not something I really expected, but again, the Jaguars defense has been letting everything through. Baker Mayfield looked great. Rachaad White looked like a great option at running back. Only 39 yards and 20 carries, which wasn't great, but at the same time was able to get it done where it needed to be and was a workhorse. And Mike Evans just looks phenomenal still.
And as you said, that run deep holding them to, 37 yards rushing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's also great.
It's just simply Baker Bacon, baby.
Yeah, the Buccaneers defense is still a very underestimated defense. I would still say they're probably one of...
They
they're
were
in the top half.
slipping for a bit, though.
Yeah.
Like, in the middle of the season, they were having issues.
There's a bit of a lull, especially with the whole Devin White contract drama to start the year, but it does look like it's hampered them too badly.
I mean, this was a defense that Tom Brady went to. So it's going to be good, or at least coached well and have enough good pieces to do something. So,
and still, it has definitely got those pieces. Devin White, Vita Vea, Murphy Bunting. Is Murphy Bunting still on the team? No, I think he's traded. Barrett, Joe Tryon,
Winfield Jr. Yeah. Avonte David too. That's another big name there. Shaquille Barrett. Like, they got some big names here that are kind of flying under the radar.
I figured they would take a step back losing Sue a couple of seasons ago, but no, they've still been pretty serviceable.
And again, Tampa Bay could finish 10-7. They could win 2 more games and have 10 wins, which honestly is not that bad.
Who's left on their schedule? I forget.
Let's take a look then. I know they'll have one more conference game. Saints-Panthers, so 2 conference games. Panthers is probably a win. And
Panthers, Saints, that could go either way, but I feel like they could win.
They could definitely win that. I mean, it's the NFC South. Anything can happen.
And the rest of the teams are pure shit. Like, but the Bucks, they look like shit to start the year, but it's getting better.
In the Tank Bowl, I feel like Macedon, you're gonna have to put the NFC South out of it. If Tampa wins 10 games, they win 2 more games, they'll have a 10-win season. If they do that and the AFC South doesn't have a team that gets to 10-7, I feel like the AFC South's worse than the NFC South. Jacksonville can't put it together. Indianapolis is injured. Houston's young and injured, and Tennessee is shit. Again, obviously the NFC South. Carolina is horrible. New Orleans is inconsistent. Atlanta has horrible coaching, and then Tampa Bay kind of looks good. Not really good, but like average enough to maybe put some fear in you for a playoff matchup.
Yeah. Not so much that Tampa Bay fans are drinking themselves to sleep every night, like some teams on the NFC South are.
Yeah.
Burning jerseys and trying to forget they're a fan of that team.
Yeah. Jaguars, on the other hand, this is not a good time to be being the Jaguars of 4 or 5 years ago. Even further than that, really, like 8
Yeah.
years ago. Lawrence has got to stay healthy. ETN can't produce. Your receivers aren't doing as insane amount, and your defense is horrid.
Would it be safe to assume that they'll be in the market for a new DC this offseason?
Probably. I would imagine they would probably be in that. If not, then they're at least going to be in the market for some high, big name talent.
I just thought of a nightmare scenario if they do go for a new DC and they hire Joe Barry.
Oh. Nightmare Joe Barry rotation.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Cardinals Bears. Bears get
Came on, but you won this time.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bears
look
get
at
their
that.
6th win of the season. Cardinals dropped to 3-12, 27-16, the final score from Soldier Field. Arizona, Kyler Murray, 24 for 38 for 230, a 6.1 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks, and 97.5 rating. On the ground, James Conner, 12 for 45, and Kyler Murray, 5 for 32, as well as Emery DeMercado, 2 for 10. Receiving, James Conner, 5 for 67 and a touchdown. Greg Dortch, 2 for 45 and a touchdown. Emery DeMercado, 7 for 40. Trey McBride, 6 for 31. Rondell Moore, 2 for 30. Elijah Higgins, 2 for 17. For the Bears, Justin Fields had a fairly good day. 15 for 27 for 170. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. 6.3 average yards passing. 1 sack, 71.5 rating. Khalil Herbert on the ground, 20 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown, as well as Justin Fields, 9 for 97 and a touchdown. Rashawn Johnson, 9 for 37. On the ground as well. They had a total of 250 yards rushing. Holy shit. Amazing performance rushing from them, probably also because the Arizona's defensive line hasn't been good since J.J. Watt retired. Receiving, Cole Kmet, 4 for 107. DJ Moore, 3 for 18. Rashawn Johnson, 3 for 16. Robert Tonyan, 1 for 14. Khalil Herbert, 1 for 9. And Darnell Mooney, 2 for 5. I mean, obviously Arizona's in a rebuild period. You got to decide whether you're keeping guys like James Conner or Kyler Murray. I would probably lean towards yes, even though I don't like Kyler as a leader. And then Chicago is definitely, I think, further along in a rebuild, honestly. They do have some solid pieces. Komet looks like a solid tight end to stay with.
Just need better coaching, that's about it.
Yeah, more Tonyan and Mooney as well. Khalil Herbert looks like a good option at running back. It's all depending on what you do with Fields. You have the number 1 pick coming up. You stay with Fields. You go with Williams. You go with Drake May. You go with David McCarthy. You get Marvin Harrison to complement more Tonyan, Herbert, Komet, and Mooney. I mean,
you could. So I think the idea is to keep Fields, get Marvin Harrison. Sorry, and just
combine Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison. That would be insane.
And just have like a dog of a offense going for you, and then if Fields isn't that good, then you could just move on from him and try to get someone on the market.
Yeah, if I was the GM for the Bears, I would draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and then I would hopefully be able to draft the offensive tackle from Penn State. I forget his name because it's a little longer.
I just looking at that stuff.
Yeah, I would draft
Oluwayiwa Fashanu.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember that very well for the time being. But
I would draft Olu for now.
Olu, but that's the name of the center for the Seahawks. Olutuwemi. Osu Olutuwemi is the other. Okay.
Huh.
It's Nigerian names are crazy.
Fashanu is the shorter part. Just call him by his last name.
Fashanu. Yeah. So I would draft him with your second first round pick if he's there, which he probably should be because I feel like quarterback's going to be a bit higher of a commodity. Because then if you have a solid tackle, being able to stop some edge rushers, and you're able to get Fields more time, and then you are throwing DBs into a head spin. Because imagine next year, if Jair Alexander's no longer with the Packers, you're going to have the Packers going out and getting whatever DBs they want, but they're going to have to cover DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Darnell Mooney for receivers only, not to mention Komet and Tonyan at tight end, and then Herbert out of the backfield.
And not just in the Bears. Imagine, look at the other offensive pieces that the Vikings and Lions have on their roster.
Yeah. So
Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson when he's healthy, Jordan Addison. Who's Mattinson for the Vikings for their running game?
I think the Bears need to prioritize offensive pieces, not because the offensive pieces in this draft are a little bit more fortuitous. There's more of them than defensive ones, but at the same time, you really want to figure out, is Justin Fields the guy? So you go out and you get him some protection.
How many years is it going to take to know he's the guy? Like, come on. Or
when
either.
you need to figure out he's the guy is you need to as process of elimination. You need to figure out if it's him. When the Bengals were bad with Burrow, was it because of Burrow or was it because of the O-line? We figured out when we got to the Super Bowl with all the linemen who should have been cut, besides maybe Jonah Williams, that it was the line's fault. So then we fixed the line, and now we're trying to get back to that same spot. But again, injuries are happening, so we're having to walk with that.
I'm seeing the reverse of that, finding out how Mac Jones is shit. Like, he had one good year, and then we had him fucked up by Matt Patricia and a shit O-line.
Yeah, process of elimination. I mean, again, Justin Fields last year, people were saying he's Michael Vick, and I don't think he's gotten worse since then. I think he just doesn't have as much protection. You get him some protection, you get him another surefire receiver, then you're going to really figure out, hey, it's him now. That's the problem. Or maybe you figured out it wasn't him, and he all of a sudden is lighting up, and he's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, you could go O-line and get an 8. I'm looking at other options outside the top 5. Like, I feel like the Patriots, if they don't go quarterback, they'll go for Fashanu or Joe Alt out of Notre Dame for offensive tackle. But there's also another guy I'm looking at, Tylise Fuaga out of Oregon State. He's like the top 3 on Mel Kiper's board for offensive tackles right now.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility if you don't want to like reach for some guy like Latham out of Alabama.
Yeah. So I think it's what you got to do as the Bears. You just got to really narrow it down and figure out who's the issue. Is it Fields or is it somebody else? And again, you're going to be able to sign people in free agency. You really need to target big name linemen.
Yeah, what money? Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if he's healthy now because the Bengals cut him. Like, Lyle Collins would be a good option. I mean, the Bengals mysteriously cut him. People weren't talking about his injury. I don't know what the fuck happened. If there was a negative drug test or something. Or, like, I'm just speculating here, but, like, he was mysteriously cut. You could pick up him, who's a Pro Bowl lineman. Like, I'm looking at some of the guys.
I'm looking at some of the top free agent offensive linemen: Jason Kelsey, Tyron Smith,
retired,
Wayne Brown, Connor Williams, Trenton Brown, Jonah Williams, Hala Vitae,
so the
George
Bengals
Fant.
need to get right tackle. Oh,
George Fant's got to be on the market out of Seattle.
Oh, the Bengals are going to need a right tackle. Oh God, why did we cut?
Isaiah
did we cut
Wynn.
Collins? Why did we cut? I don't understand. Like, why didn't they? Why did they come out and say, "Hey, he tore his ACL falling down the stairs, or he had a negative drug test, or he tested positive for PEDs"? Like, why didn't they say something? We just cut him mysteriously, and then they're just like, "You didn't see anything." Say something. Like, the guy was good once we got a different scheme set up for his spacing, and he was a fucking phenomenal run blocker. That guy was eating middle linebackers for breakfast. But now I'm ranting about the Bengals. Yeah, some things that Duke Tobin does I don't understand. Like Michael Mayer, like fucking Michael Mayer. Every time it just get out of my head. Get out of my head.
Get out of me head. Get out of me head. Smiling friends.
Yeah.
Now this was a game. This was a good game.
Dallas Cowboys 20, Miami Dolphins 22, Dak Prescott 20 for 32 for 253, a 7.9 average, 2 touchdowns.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, 4 sacks, 107.9 rating. On the ground, a lot of rushers. Pollard 12 for 38, Dak Prescott 5 for 25, CeeDee Lamb 2 for 14, Brandon Cooks 1 for 9, Kamante Dearborn 1 for 4, Rico Dwaddle 2 for 4, and Hunter Lupke 2 for 3. Receiving, CeeDee Lamb 6 for 118 and a touchdown, Jason Tolbert 2 for 51, Jake Ferguson 4 for 45, Brandon Cooks 2 for 14 and a touchdown, Hunter Lupke 1 for 8, Tony Pollard 1 for 5, Kamante Turpin 1 for 4, Luke Schoonmaker 1 for 4, Michael Gallup 2 for 4. Then for the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa 24 for 37, 239 yards, a 7.9 average, 1 touchdown, no picks, 1 sack, a 98.1 rating. On the ground, Mostert 11 for 46, Devon Akine 7 for 24, Jeff Wilson 5 for 21, Jalen Waddle 1 for 2. Receiving, Tyreek Hill was back 9 for 99. Just there, almost there. Durham Smythe 5 for 56, Jalen Waddle 1 for 50, Cedric Wilson Jr. 3 for 42, Robbie Chosen, Robbie Chosen Anderson 1 for 19, Alec Ingold 2 for 12. Very close game between the two teams. Both of them struggled to beat teams over 500, and then one of them realized they had to win, and so the Dolphins came out on top.
Yep.
I think the big thing is Stephon Gilmore can't cover Hill, Waddle at the same time. So one of them was always open because I don't know what the fuck has happened to. Was he even playing Diggs?
It's
Or did he get hurt at the beginning of the year? Didn't Diggs? Diggs
he's injured.
Yeah. So
Forgot
Diggs.
about that.
That's right. Diggs isn't playing, so you're kind of lower on DBs now, and him and Gilmore were your big guys. Gilmore's going to be your CB2. Now he's your CB1. So we're trying to cover Tyreek Hill, which is impossible for almost any cornerback in the NFL. And you were able to stop the run decently. Only Mostert had 46 yards. Akine had 24. So you did well there. Then for the offense, CeeDee Lamb still went off, but not as well as you needed him to. And then your run game just could not get. You have 97 yards, but that was with 25 carries amongst 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different people. Really wasn't able to get a consistent run game going, and that hurt. So yeah. Also, I didn't realize Chase Claypool's a Dolphin now.
Yeah. This was a while
that.
ago. We reported on this, dude.
I did. Yeah. I just forgot about that.
We had Claypool at the beginning of the season, and we got rid of him.
But yeah, Christian Wilkins did a great job really sealing up the center for the Dallas run game, stopping the Dallas run game for Miami. So two teams
on that line.
Two teams that struggle with consistency and tend to choke when it comes to the playoffs. So let's see if they can actually keep it going towards then. Really could have gone either way. Good game.
Both teams have had trouble going against teams over 500 this year. So one of them had to have broken that streak of sucking against those kind of teams.
Yeah.
Am I happy? It was a division rival? Not exactly, but it's better than the Cowboys doing it.
Yeah. That's how you know everyone hates the Cowboys, is that the guy that's a Patriots fan wants the Dolphins to beat him.
Now, this was a game I actually wouldn't have minded if they lost, because now I'm out of the running for Marvin Harrison and Caleb Williams, and I fucking hate it. But also, fuck you, Denver. You blew it.
26-20, the final score. Denver loses at Mile High. Possibly Russell Wilson's last game in a Broncos jersey. We'll see about that. Bailey Zappi.
It was one fucking game, huh?
It's been a lot more than one game, man. It's been a lot.
Well, we'll get into it a little bit too.
This ride could end. It's been a 2-year fire. This
getting off for a while, okay?
I mean, he was,
and then whatever the fuck happened in this game happened.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi, 25 for 33 for 256, a 7.8 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks, a 117.7 rating. On the ground, Ezekiel Elliott, the lead carrier with 27 yards on 12 carries, as well as Kevin Harris, 7 for 21. Then receiving, Demario Douglas, 5 for 74, Devontae Barker, 4 for 65, Ezekiel Elliott, 9 for 33 and a touchdown, Jalen Reagor, 2 for 33, Pharaoh Brown, 2 for 25, Mike Gesicki, 2 for 15, and Tyquan Thornton, 1 for 11. Gesicki also had a receiving touchdown.
This offense had me pretty surprised because, that touchdown from Ezekiel Elliott came from him leaping over a receiver. A geriatric Ezekiel Elliott jumped over somebody for a touchdown. And then Jalen Reagor remembered he had hands that can actually grab things. That's surprising to me, honestly.
Yeah. For Denver, Russell Wilson, 25 for 37 for 238, a 6.4 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 5 sacks, a 103.2 rating. Rushing, Julian McLaughlin, 8 for 37. Javonte Williams, 11 for 24 and a touchdown. Russell Wilson, 4 for 20. And Samaje Perine, 1 for 2. Receiving, Marvin Mims Jr., 3 for 63. Brandon Johnson, 3 for 47 and a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 44. Julian McLaughlin, 4 for 30. Lucas Kroll, 4 for 28 and a touchdown. Samaje Perine, 4 for 27. And Michael Burton, 1 for 4. This game was ugly. This game was really ugly. Missed extra point by Chad Ryland. 2 for 3 on field goal attempts. Did get a field goal later in the game, so he did kind of redeem himself, but didn't look pretty at the very beginning.
He also missed. He also doinked an extra point shot, which was also
good old doinks.
If you haven't heard the Will Lutz missed field goal, or was it Ryland's missed field goal that hit
there were a lot of missed kicks in this game, and
who was the doink that hit the microphone? Was that Ryland?
Ryland.
So yeah, if you haven't heard that, watch the video of Ryland's missed field goal at Mile High. He kicked the ball, and it went up and it hit the right outpost, right at the top where the microphone is. So it sounded like a sonic boom through a headset. Just bam, Mike.
And while you're at it, also look at the 2 fumble punt return fuck up Marvin Mims had. Where he dropped it after catching it, Then as he gets tackled by, I think it was Wade from the Patriots who tackled him, gets the ball punched out, immediately rolls in the end zone. Patriots fall on it, touchdown.
Yeah.
This game.
This was a
Kick
game of all
returns.
time.
Where does it show? Yeah. Cody Davis, 1 touchdown.
Cody
right
Davis, there you go.
On the defense. So this game was ugly, and I'm not talking about it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just ugly. Even though you won.
I will say
you
though,
get
it
to
was
say
better
ugly.
than the last year's Christmas Eve game where I fucking lost on that last second Jacoby Myers sleeper cell double agent.
Oh my god, I remember
don't
that.
Even get me yeah,
Fucking,
I was so pissed.
Jacoby Myers threw it straight to Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones just went into fucking Mac Jones.
That game had me so pissed. But and the Raiders once again won on Christmas against the fucking Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Yeah, this was unexpected by so many people.
I
Also, Raiders won 20-14. Look at the stat line for Aiden O'Connell, the starting quarterback for the Raiders. 9 for 21 for 62 yards, a 3-yard average, no touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks. That's a 50 ball at the fucking
you also want to know
Cody
something?
rating.
You also want to know something funny? That those 62 points were all in the 62 yards, all in the first quarter. They had no successful passes past the first quarter.
Yeah.
And they still won.
I mean, to be fair, Zamir White, 22 for 145 on the ground, is an amazing performance rushing. They were really able... I don't know how they did this against Chandler Jones, but I guess he is just a pass rusher in a DT's body. And then receiving, Jacoby Myers, 3 for 42, Austin Hooper, 2 for 13, and Cole Fotheringham, 1 for 16, as well as Vontae Adams, 1 for 4. Yeah, it's Vontae Adams with 1 for 4 on 6 targets.
Yeah, one is for the Raiders, their defense. 2 defensive touchdowns in 7 seconds.
Yeah.
One was by
7 tackles for loss, 5 pass deflects, 10 quarterback hits, 2 touchdowns, 4 sacks, 52,
one by Jack Jones, which again,
tackles.
why weren't you doing this when you were a Patriot?
Yeah.
And the other by who was the other one? I forget.
That was a fumble recovery. So Jack Jones had the interception. The fumble recovery was by Bale Nichols.
Nichols, yeah. Oh yeah, the big man touchdown.
Big man touchdown. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 27 for 44 for 235, a 5.3 average, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 4 sacks, 73.6 rating. Mahomes also 10 for 53 on the ground. He was their lead rusher. Not a good idea. Pachenko did go out of the game with an injury. He had 11 for 26 and a touchdown, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire 4 for 6. Receiving, Rashee Rice, 6 for 57. Richie James, 3 for 45. Travis Kelce, 5 for 44. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 3 for 42. Justin Watson, 4 for 38 and a touchdown. Noah Gray, 1 for 5. Blake Bell, 1 for 4. Justin Ross, 1 for 2. Chiefs laid a fucking egg. I don't know how you allowed this to happen, but again, there are no receiving options. Travis Kelce has taken his biggest step backward since entering the league. And obviously, no Pachenko means no run game because everyone knows that if everyone knows it's a run, Edwards-Helaire isn't breaking any tackles. Pachenko runs through people. Edwards-Helaire...
I will say it was kind of funny with the Pacheco injury. Not that it was funny getting hurt. No person getting hurt ever is funny. But when there was the clip on the sideline when he's hopping on the examination table to get checked out before they put the blue tent over him, the table collapsed. And he just sitting just something out of some fucking slapstick shit.
Yeah.
And he just sat there like, what the fuck just happened?
Sums up the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a decently tough schedule up ahead. They do play the Bengals. Obviously, Bengals have an issue right now. No Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is apparently adding fire to the fuel about calling out the secondary, and then they play the Chargers. The Chiefs
didn't have to play against the secondary. You were out. Yeah,
the Chiefs are facing a realization that the AFC might not run through Arrowhead, that they might have to be on the road for some of these games. Now, are they going to win their division? Yes. I don't think the Vegas Raiders, who are in prime position in order to challenge the Chiefs for the championship of the AFC West, are going to do much. They play the Colts and the Broncos. They could lose both of those games. I think they'll beat the Broncos. I think they'll lose with the Colts, but...
I think they could win both of those, if I'm honest.
Right, but if for the Vegas Raiders to win the AFC West, I mean... They might not be able to. We'll take a look at the playoff picture when we're done here, but they would have to win both games.
I think by tiebreaker they don't
both.
win it. They would need like I think at least a few things for them to go their way to get into the wild card position. But clinching the West is definitely not happening. Definitely not happening.
The Chiefs would have to lose to the Chargers in the final week of the season. I don't think that's
not
happening.
happening. No.
I don't think that's
unless
happening.
they rested like everybody and just put it in their practice squad.
Yeah. Well, which they still might do and win because Easton stick. So
I know.
Not a good day for the Chiefs. You got to write something around because you cannot go into the playoffs losing to the Raiders.
Also, not a good game if you're a Tommy DeVito fan as we go into Eagles Giants.
Yeah. DeVito 9 for 16 for 55 for 3.4 average was benched, and eventually Tyler Taylor came in 7 for 16 for 133.
Well, actually, he wasn't benched. I don't know what happened to him, but they later found him after the game sitting in the bottom of the Hudson with concrete shoes on. I don't know who did that, but
wait, what?
Joking, mafia jokes.
He's sleeping with the fishes.
Tyrod Taylor did come in and look a little better. Still wasn't enough. Giants lost to the Eagles at the Link, 25-33. They do get to play them in 2 weeks, so we'll see how that goes. Barkley, 23 for 80 on the ground for a touchdown. Tyrod Taylor, 2 for 21. As well as Tommy DeVito, 1 for 5. Then receiving, Darius Slayton, 3 for 90 and a touchdown. Darren Bellinger, 4 for 43. Darren Waller, 2 for 32. Wanda Robinson, 3 for 16. Saquon Barkley, 3 for 4. And Matt Breida, 1 for 3. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 24 for 38 for 301 yards, 7.9 average, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 sack, and 85.5 rating. DeAndre Swift, 20 for 92 and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, 6 for 41. Jalen Hurts, 8 for 34 and a touchdown. And Boston Scott, 1 for 3. Then receiving, A.J. Brown, 6 for 80. Devontae Smith, 4 for 79 and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 7 for 71. Kenneth Gainwell, 3 for 38. Grant Calcaterra, 2 for 21. Brian Covey, 1 for 7. And Julio Jones, yes, that Julio Jones, 1 for 5.
Yeah.
Eagles won the game. It should have been a lot more. They still don't look like they're clicking on all cylinders and not at a good time. But again, you have 2 weeks to right the ship, get healthy, and make sure you're good to go for the playoffs. And ho-hum, you're 11-4 and now leading the East again. You just got to watch out for the Cowboys, make sure you win the last 2 games, and keep your home field advantage. Hurts looked pretty good, had 1 interception, didn't look too bad, but didn't look too great either. DeAndre Swift looked very good on the ground, 20 for 92 was a 4.6 yard average. If you're running the ball for 4.5 yards every time you touch it, that's a great performance. And the ball was distributed pretty evenly amongst the receivers. That looked great. For the Giants, DeVito... Is the Cinderella story over? We've said that about a billion quarterbacks, as I talked about before we started covering the games. I don't know. The Linsanity season has been ridiculous for quarterbacks this year. There's been so many injuries. Again, I don't know how you can move on from this iconic.
Well, you just have Mafia hit to take him out, and there you go.
Yeah. Tyler Taylor did look very good. Hats off to him. Saquon Barkley did run.
No DeVito.
Yeah. Barkley did run 23 carries on 80 yards for a touchdown, so good from him. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles roster is just more complete than the Giants. But again, why are you winning this game by 8 points, Eagles? Like, it should be a little bit more, in my opinion. You need to start dominating some of these teams here. You got to be clicking on all cylinders going into the playoffs and not struggling to get things together consistency-wise.
Can we say they were playing down to competition, baby?
Absolutely.
Is that out of possibility?
Macedon would totally say so. So, yeah. But, I mean, not much else to say. I mean, the Giants would have needed a miracle to win. And to be quite honest with you, they were close to getting it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
This game... This game
49ers
was
fans,
nuts.
avert your eyes from that Brock Purdy stat line.
Yeah. A
Yeesh.
couple things we'll talk about. First of all, Baltimore 33, San Francisco 49ers 19. This is the first time in a long time that the number 1 teams in the AFC and NFC have played each other in the regular season. Lamar Jackson went 23 for 35 for 252, a 7.2 yard average passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks, and 105.9 rating. He also was the lead rusher, 7 for 45, followed by Gus Edwards, 9 for 31, and a touchdown. Justice Hill, 10 for 26. Receiving, Zay Flowers, again, looks like a very good option, especially as a rookie. 9 for 72 and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 3 for 56. Gus Edwards, 1 for 39. Justice Hill, 3 for 31. Charlie Kolar, 1 for 17. Rashad Bateman, 1 for 14. Odell Beckham Jr., 2 for 13. And Nelson Aguilar, 3 for 10 and a touchdown. For the Niners, Brock Purdy, 18 for 32 for 225 yards and 8-yard average. No touchdowns, 2 sacks, a 42.6 rating. Seems pretty fine, nothing wrong. And then you look at the interceptions, and there's 4 of them. Not good there. I will say, looking back at this, one of those interceptions is on Brock Purdy. The rest are pass rush. And
There
I
are
was
a lot of tip balls too.
I was floored at the level at which the Baltimore Ravens were able to get to the quarterback against a San Francisco offensive line.
They
Yeah,
are the
aside
number
from
one
Trent
defense.
Williams, their O line isn't exactly anything to write home about. It's
No,
kind of meh.
I think their offensive line is still one of the better ones. I think it's coached very well. Obviously, Trent Williams anchors it down, and they have some good players on the offensive line. I can't remember the name they're sending right now, but he's very
It's
consistent.
better than anyone on the Bears, lol.
Well, yeah, but then also if you think about the accessories they have, because sometimes you need an extra guy. Sometimes teams rush 6 and not 5, and then you can't block everyone. So they have Kittle, who's debatably the best blocking tight end in the game. Obviously, Mercedes Lewis would like to challenge that. If George, let me just say this: if George Kittle chips you, there's gonna be more than a chip on your shoulder. All right, so. If you want to have him block as an extra lineman, that'd be a great option. That's another great option for him to have. Honestly, he's a bigger threat, in my opinion, blocking than he is receiving. Not that he's a bad receiver, he's just that good at blocking. Then you have Juice, the one and only Kyle Juszczyk, able to block as well. So, there's great compliments there, but yet the Ravens defense, and we'll quickly skip down to their stats here, 9 quarterback hits, 11 passes defended, 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 59 total tackles. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, and back to San Francisco, rushing, McCaffrey, 14 for 103 and a touchdown. No one else had over 10 yards rushing. Receiving, George Kittle, 7 for 126. Brandon Ayuk, 6 for 113. Deebo Samuel, 4 for 47. McCaffrey, 6 for 28. Ronnie Bell, 1 for 12 and a touchdown. Kyle Juszczyk, 1 for 5. And Willie Snead, the fourth, 1 for 5. So again, the pass rush by Baltimore was insane. The majority of Brock Purdy's interceptions were his arm getting hit, the pass being deflected at the line of scrimmage, or the one bad one he had at the very beginning was he was trying to hit Deebo Samuel on a crossing route across the middle and threw it too late. Marlon Humphrey picked it off. People are saying, oh, Brock Purdy, this is his, he's really a game manager. He's horrible. He's not a good NFL quarterback. He's a role player.
Bullshit, bro.
Why would we say that?
Bullshit. I mean, Brock Purdy still has a good chance at winning the MVP, and if he comes out and he balls out the next 2 weeks and Lamar's still kind of playing under the radar, it could happen. I definitely think Lamar does have the right to have a better odds at winning the MVP after this performance.
Again.
I mean, he took it from them. He took the MVP chances from Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey with his good performance here. He performed very well. Their offense looked in sync in many different ways. Obviously, Zay Flowers is a great pickup. They're hurting without Mark Andrews, but they're not hurting bad enough to where they're struggling from it. They've taken it in stride. They've lost running backs and tight ends, but again, they still have some good receiving options. Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., Aguilar looks serviceable at least, and Zay Flowers looks like a true wide receiver 1 option on this team. And the Ravens defense, this is the scariest I've seen a Ravens defense since Ray Lewis was active in the NFL.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
So,
true.
Is Roquan Smith the second coming?
those
I
are
hate you for
huge.
saying that.
That is huge shoes to fill.
I hate you for saying that because he was on the Bears.
I mean, that's like asking Joe Biden if he's the next Teddy Roosevelt. Do you know how big of shoes that is to fill? Like, I'm not saying Roquan Smith is, that level, but I mean, I don't think there'll ever be middle linebackers like Urlacher or Willis or Lewis ever again.
Brewski.
Because you can't. I don't know. Brewski was more of a coverage guy. He could still hit you hard, but he was a coverage guy.
So my favorite linebacker.
You can't hit people like that anymore. I'll tell you something. Cam Chancellor ruined the NFL because that motherfucker made it so you can't hit people. Because people were watching Cam Chancellor hit other people and were like, yeah, this needs to fucking stop.
Yeah.
Him and Patrick.
And then there was Vontaze Burfict, who was just hitting people in April and not caring how he was hitting
them. Vontaze Burfict headbutted Joe Flacco's nuts and Burfict had a concussion. So, I mean, I don't know.
The Antonio Brown is what looms large for everybody when it comes to
true,
Burfict.
very true. Anyway, final game that just ended recently. The Browns have clinched a playoff spot with their win. They get the win at home on Thursday night, the last Thursday night game of the season. Hallelujah! And they did it in their all-white uniforms, even though they're Bengals ripoffs. They look kind of nice. 37-20 the final score. Trevor Siemian.
Welcome back to the playoffs, Browns.
Yeah, 32-45 the final, or 32 for 45 completions and attempts, 261 yards, 5.8 average, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 2 sacks, 83.7 rating. Breece Hall on the ground, 13 for 84. Trevor Siemian, 4 for 13, and Xavier Gibson, 1 for 8. Then for receiving, Grant Wilson, 5 for 50. Tyler Conklin, 5 for 45. Breece Hall, 9 for 42 and a touchdown. Xavier Gibson, 4 for 33. Kenny Yabaway, 2 for 28. Jason Brownlee, 2 for 28. Israel Aben Ikanda. 4 for 27,
Wakanda
and Nick
forever.
Badewin, 1 for 8. For the Browns, Joe Flacco, once again, having another masterclass Is He Elite performance. 19 for 29.
Oh, yeah.
309, 107 as the average. 3 touchdowns,
I would
1
say,
pick.
if I may, I actually do think he is elite this year because at no point in his entire career in the NFL has he had multiple games in a row with 300 yards plus passing.
Yeah.
He is him.
I mean, his
He is
rating
him.
was 112.2, so.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford, 12 on the ground, 12 carries, 64 yards. Kareem Hunt, 10 for 31 and a touchdown. Pierre Strong, 4 for 29. Then receiving, David Njoku, 6 for 134. Elijah Moore, 5 for 61 and a touchdown. Jerome Ford, 2 for 57 and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Atkins, 1 for 28. Harrison Bryant, 2 for 14. Cedric Tillman, 1 for 8. And David Bell, 2 for 7. Honestly, with the way you're getting production out of Njoku and how nobody can stop him, keep Flacco over Watson. Because this guy knows how to throw to Njoku, and Njoku is getting big yardage.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, Flacco's certainly geriatric, but I'd keep him around more than Deshaun Cosby right now.
And then you also go out and you have an amazing performance and give Amari Cooper his biggest performance ever. Like 260-something yards. That's something Dak Prescott couldn't even do when Amari Cooper was a Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
big which was he out this year? I think I missed him in the IR section.
Yes, he was out. But again, Njoku picked up the reins, and I mean, Flacco looks pretty good. I mean, he's making interceptions, but at the same time, he's taking risks. And every pass he throws is just it seems just tight spiral on a dot. It's scary at 38 that he's doing this. Never did I expect I would see Joe Flacco lead a Cleveland team to the playoffs, which is nuts. For the Jets, I mean, you're eliminated from playoff contention. I don't know.
These script writers are wild, huh?
They've been on ketamine the whole year, dude.
That's special
Nuts.
K, huh?
Absolutely nuts. But yeah, I think that basically wraps up our coverage of last week's NFL games, including this Thursday night game. Our last Thursday night game, so we can kind of predict weeks normally for the next 2 that we have. But yeah, all right. Let's go ahead and get into Mamba's MVP of the week.
Amari Cooper.
Oh, easy. 265 total
Easy,
yards, multiple touchdowns.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
sure.
All right, I got the notepad up.
All right. Well, first we have to do the Tank Bowl, which I'm going to continue for Macedon this week.
No. Okay. Change the whole thing, please.
Change it all around. Gotta change it all around. All right. I'm filling in for Macedon this week. So I don't know if I'll really change much. Obviously, the Panthers are still worst. The Giants lost, but the Patriots won, so we'll probably swap that. Washington still lost. They're stinky. I think I will move the Bears out to honorable mention.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
But yeah, the Chargers still lost, so they're still there. And then, I mean, I don't think I can move the Jaguars in. I was thinking about it, but they're still leading their division. So,
Look at who else is out that you could move in.
not really anybody. All these teams. I mean, well,
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Broncos are probably in there.
Even
also the Bears. The Bears aren't. They won a game, and they're also like not. There's aren't they still able to make the playoffs somehow?
Technically, yes.
So yeah,
Yes, but
I think
they would need like everything there to go their way. I don't know what
eliminated. Not
like
eliminated.
when we get
I don't think
when
they're
we
the
get
same
to
level
the
here.
playoff picture, like the scenarios for them is gonna be like 3 paragraphs long.
Yeah.
of how they're
Also,
going to make it.
I kind of want to move the Buccaneers out, but they're in the NFC South, so I can't. But at the same time, they look much
Yeah.
better than these other two teams. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of where I'll sit here with this. And the reason I did this is because we always have the next. We're doing 2-tier lists, so we're doing this one now.
Oh, what is this?
Basketball.
Oh, good
Basketball.
lord.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change this up because there's like this top tier and everything. I'm gonna do we're gonna do this a different way. We're gonna rate them by position.
Oh, I don't know. Fucking what?
I'm a pretty big basketball head, so I can do this. All right. So let's look at this. Okay, Bill Russell. We're gonna put him at the first for center right now. He's like 12 NBA championships. Yeah. Karl Malone, obviously power forward. Jerry West is a point guard. Some people say shooting guard. You're wrong. Julius Erving, small forward. Shaq, center. When it comes to centers, center is the toughest position to rate, in my opinion. And I'll go ahead and put the centers that I have. Where's Kareem? There he is. So I have my top 5 centers like this. Because
Kareem,
basically how I go, and left is highest, right's lowest. Top 5 centers is the center's position is the hardest to rank because that's the talent that has the most talent of any position in the NBA. I put Kareem at the top because when I look at greatness, you look at their individual talent, their accolades, and how they impacted the game, right? Kareem, his individual accolades, he was the top leading scorer before LeBron James took him over last season. Then he also has a ton of NBA championships, a couple MVPs. I believe also 1 or 2 defensive players of the year. He's up there. The next 2, Wilt and Bill Russell, are separate in that sense. I think the individual accolades of Wilt are higher, 100 points a game, average 55 rebounds in the season, incredible performances. Doesn't have as much team success, but then Russell is the opposite. He has a lot of team success, 11 or 12, I think it's like 12 championships, I believe, not 11 or 12. But yeah, so they're right up there, and then right behind them is the most dominant player of all time, Shaquille O'Neal, followed up by Hakeem Olajuwon, the best defensive center of all time, debatably the best defensive player of all time. Rodman's obviously up there. Okay. Dwayne Wade's a shooting guard. Small forward, Kevin Durant now I think is above Julius Erving. Steph Curry is definitely above Jerry West, all due respect. Power forward, I would put Dirk above Karl Malone. That 2011 championship, the most deserved championship of all time. Steve Nash over Jerry West. I can't do that over the logo. Jerry West has got a couple MVPs. I still think the logo's better. I will put John Stockton below Steve Nash. John Stockton, though, one of the best defensive point guards as well as passing point guards in the league. Clyde Drexler, just below D Wade here. Kevin Garnett in power forward. I will put him above Dirk at the top spot for now. Allen Iverson, shooting guard. Even without a championship, also an MVP award there. I think he's above D Wade. Elgin Baylor, really underrated small forward. But he's down on the list there. He is better, though, than Rick Barry, not going to lie. Rick Barry is still very good, though. Power forward, Charles Barkley. Him and Malone are kind of in the same setup for me. Really good statistically, but never can really get a championship. Moses Malone at center, behind Hakeem Olajuwon, still very good. Who the fuck, 42 on the... That Nick Van Exel? I don't even know what that is. Okay, Magic Johnson. I think he's still the... Magic Johnson's still the best point guard in my opinion. I think Steph can overtake him in a little bit once we're all said and done. Small forward, Scottie Pippen. I'll have to put him above Irving just because of championships as well. Their skill was very good together, and Scottie would have been a lot better, I think, if Jordan wasn't with him because he would have gotten more recognition.
But you wouldn't have those rings.
I think he still would have gotten one. Iceman, George Gervin, really underrated, very good player. Sadly at the bottom of shooting guards for now. Clyde Frazier, really good point guard, but he's overmatched when it comes to this position. David Robinson, another really good center. Put him below Malone here. John Hondo Havlicek, small forward. I'll put him above Rick Barry and Elgin Baylor, just because of the rings as well, the team championships and accomplishments there. Patrick Ewing, kind of overrated in my opinion. Still a very good center, but overrated a lot in some of the conversations they have about centers. Another small forward, Paul Pierce. I'll put him above Rick Barry, but honestly, Elgin Baylor would wipe the floor with him. Gary Payton, one of the best trash talkers and defending point guards in NBA history, never got a championship until he got to the Heat with Shaq and Wade. He's It kind of tied with Havlicek in my Stockton in my opinion. Ray Allen got a couple rings, really good shooter. I'll put him above Iceman, but he's not above Clyde Drexler. If you don't know Clyde, you know your history. Larry Bird. Bird is the word. Isaiah Thomas. He's better than Clyde Drexler. I think he's better here. I think I'd put him here. An amazing point guard talent. Battled through a lot of things. I think I would put him at level with Steve Nash. You could interchange these. Chris Paul still doesn't win a title. I think if he wins the title, it could really elevate him into a higher position here. But right now, I think he's below Gary Payton. Then you have Joe Dumars at shooting guard. I think he's the lowest rated here for now. Still very good, though. Very good career there. Jason Kidd did get a championship in 2011 with the Mavericks. Really a good triple-double threat, but I think he's below Chris Paul still. I don't think his talent is the same as Chris Paul's. Vince Carter.
That slam dunk championship, though.
Yeah, amazing slam dunk championship.
Dunks,
Why
man.
else is he on this list? Kawhi Leonard, small forward. He still has a good career, and injuries have really hampered him. He is an MVP, so I will put him above Rick Barry for that. This is no offense to Rick Barry, but some of these guys are just really, really good levels to it. Russell Westbrook, I think I got to put him right below Steve Nash. Just the triple-double season was incredible. He's really tailed off since then, so that kind of hurts him. I also see Spud Webb here. Why is he on this list? Amazing slam dunk championship, but still. Center Dwight Howard, that's another one. I'm going to put him below Patrick Ewing there. James Harden at a shooting guard. I'll put him... I think I could put him... I'll put him above Ray Allen, I think. Like, he needs to win a championship, so I'll do him below that for now, but I think he could be at George Gervin's level.
Say, above Ray Allen that's asking for something.
Yeah, it is. Still very talented scorer, though. LeBron James, obviously best small forward of all time thus far. George Gervin, George Mikan, the Mikan drill, if you're familiar with that.
I don't even know who he is.
Old school. Yeah. Oh, really old school. It's kind of hard. Yeah. Yao Ming. Okay. T-Mac, Tracy McGrady, very good player. I'll put him above George Gervin. This is really tough. These three right here are real tough. I'm going to put him above.
T-Mac got hurt, and then he kind of fell off after.
Yeah, T-Mac's, I'll put him above. I'll put him below Gervin. I like Gervin more than T-Mac, I think, just because of the longevity here. And T-Mac, I think, is better than Harden because T-Mac can play defense. One of my favorite players, Carmelo Anthony. Love to watch him play. Sadly, didn't really get too much done, but was an amazing scorer. I'll have to put him below Kawhi, but above Rick. Well, no, he didn't win championships. I'll have to put him below Rick Barry. Amari Sotomayor at power forward. Okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
Bob Cousy. Best point guard of right, K-Duff. Bob Cousy, best point guard of all time. Boston native. No. No. We're putting him above Clyde, and I think, we can also put him above Chris Paul, but then when it gets really murky in here with some of these guys, but I would definitely put him legacy of the game there. Kevin McHale, one of my favorite players. It's hard to put him just above individual talents like these guys. I think by himself, he wouldn't be as successful as he was unless he was with the Celtics. So below Barkley and Malone. Bill Walton, famous pothead, had problems with longevity, but I will put him just below David Robinson. Reggie Miller, one of the best shooting guards of all time. Really good shooter. Didn't ever get a championship, but I will put him decently high on this list. I think he's right there with George Gervin. Ben Wallace, an amazing center, but had a couple championships, had some longevity, but I don't think I can really put him any higher than Yao Ming. Kobe Bryant, probably the best.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, probably the best shooting guard of all time.
Just coming from a Celtics fan, how could you not?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
MJ.
Yeah, of course.
Another shooting guard, Pistol Pete Maravich. Sadly, was never able to win an NBA championship. I will put him just below Joe Dumars, though. An amazing guy. Watch his highlights. Tim Duncan, best power forward of all time. If you don't know, you know now. Oscar Robertson, another great point guard. I will probably have to put him just below Russell Westbrook, just for triple doubles sake. Dikembe Mutombo, great defensive. Reminds me a lot of Patrick Ewing. I'll put him just below because of the difference in offensive capabilities. and also be able to get a ring. Penny Hardaway, I'll put him above fucking Spud Webb, but injuries really derailed his career. We also have Derrick Rose. He's still playing. I'll put him above
He's
Spud
still
Webb.
playing, bro.
He also got an MVP, so I'll put him above Penny, but that's really about it. And then these other two guys, I'm not familiar with these pictures.
He's currently on the Grizzlies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know
Bruh.
who these two are. I do not know who these two are. This might be Elvin Haynes for center. If that's so, then I'll put him right above George Gervin. And then 42, this is probably James Worthy. If this is James Worthy, then I'll put him just below Rick Barry. He was a role player, but played a very
Worthy
prominent role. Yes, so that's James Worthy. Worthy was a very good defensive and slashing small forward for the run, the Showtime Lakers. But anyway, ranted about basketball. There we are. There is my list from left to right, top in each position. So the best roster that I could come up with.
Team.
Yeah. We're a football podcast, so yeah, here we go. No
football team.
Football team, yeah. No Gorlami this week, so we won't. We won't do the gambling with Gorlami there. But anyway, let's get into our predictions. If you want to pull open your notepad, there, I get that already. First thing is Lions and Cowboys. Yeah.
Yes, die. I have everything and you have nothing.
That's really funny.
Well, I think
Lions
after one of
vibe.
those games, one of those teams won't have anything.
Yeah. That's the Lions vibe. Oh, sorry. One thing we should check before all this, is we need to check the playoff picture.
Ooh.
Yes, we do.
Please.
We do.
This is getting interesting now.
So, AFC.
6-9.
Baltimore is leading the AFC North. They've clinched a playoff spot, not their division. Dolphins have clinched also playoff spot, and they're leading the AFC South. Chiefs at 3,
AFC.
then Jaguars at 4. Cleveland has clinched a playoff spot. They are 11-5, and at the 5th spot, the first wild card, they would play the Jags if the playoffs were to start today. Then the Bills at 6, and the final spot, the Indianapolis Colts at 7, who are also tied with the Texans at 8-7, Pittsburgh at 8-7, and Cincinnati at 8-7. Below them, still able to make the playoffs, are the Raiders and Broncos, both 7-8. Then eliminated Jets, Titans, Chargers, and Patriots. So there's a lot of things that need to happen. Obviously, the Bengals would have to win out if they want to get in. Same with the Steelers. Looks like neither of them are going to have a great chance to. Raiders and Broncos are already statistically improbable to make it. And then obviously Colts and Texans, those are in the AFC South. So I feel like only one of those AFC South teams are going to make it. And I feel like it might only be the team that I feel like we'll have one AFC South team in the obviously win the division and one in the wild card, and then we'll have one AFC North team in the leading the AFC North, and maybe two in the wild card. We could see the Steelers or Bengals sneak in and try to take one of those spots if the Colts, Texans, or Jaguars drop off. Moving on to the NFC, San Francisco has clinched the best. They clinched division. I feel like, didn't they clinch the best record in? No, they haven't clinched the best record in the NFC. They've clinched their division. The Niners clinched their division. The Eagles have clinched a playoff spot. The Lions have clinched their division, and the Buccaneers haven't clinched anything. They're 8-7. Cowboys have also clinched a playoff spot. They're 10-5, first wild card. Then the Rams and Seahawks both 8-7. On the outside looking in, Minnesota 7-8, Falcons 7-8, Packers 7-8, and Saints still 7-8, and still somehow alive, on the floor, breathing, half their guts or entrails out of their body. 6-9 Chicago.
The 69 Bears.
How?
Nice.
I don't.
It doesn't even have any reasoning of how you can make it in.
If the Bears,
you should by all intents and purposes be eliminated.
If the Bears make the
this
playoffs,
makes no sense.
I am buying Bears tickets with Mamba. All right. There's no way they're making it in. The probability of that is astronomically low. There's no way. I will buy two Bears tickets and struggle through a fucking Bears game.
You literally can't. Like, the second either Green Bay or Minnesota win this week, you're out.
Yeah.
It's that limit. It's that short. That's where the buck stops for you.
Yeah. So But then Giants eliminated, Commanders eliminated, Cardinals eliminated, Panthers eliminated. Not much wiggle room in the NFC. I feel like it's all Cowboys. Obviously, are locking down that top wild card spot. Then the Rams and Seahawks. The Rams seem a lot more consistent than the Seahawks, so I could see someone sneaking into that 7th spot. Who it is, it depends on who plays well. I feel like the Saints are not consistent enough, neither are the Falcons, so it's up to the Vikings and Packers. So it's all coming up to that game when they play each other, which is going to be a big thing.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, let's get back to the predictions. Lions, Cowboys. This is a Saturday, December 30th game. This is before even the New Year's festivities probably kick off for most people. Therefore, I'm taking Dan Campbell, man. Even though this is in Arlington and at home, I'm taking the Lions by 3.
All right, I'm doing Lions by 7. Actually, no, let me go opposite. If I go opposite of Lob, that's the real question.
No, you
Would you want to pick the Cowboys?
You need to not think about like
Cowboys defense is going to be better. Let me do Cowboys by 3. Get up.
Yeah, you just gotta be like me. Half the time you don't even think about the shit. But in this one, it's one I definitely know. How about them Lions by 7?
All right.
Sunday. And we should also know that. We should also note that Maston and Gorlami also sent us in their picks already previously. Yep, so
they are.
We'll factor those in later.
Patriots Bills. Sorry, Kate. Bills by 14.
Oh shit!
No offense,
out of order. Hold on. Wait, what the fuck?
Technical difficulties?
Oh, okay. New England Bills. Okay, here we go. So you said Bills by what?
14.
14, okay. Bills by 7 for me.
Give me Bills by 10.
All right.
Okay. Falcons, Bears. I think the Bears will want to win this more than the Falcons will, and I think Montez Sweat can really slow down BJ Robinson, and if you stop him, that will limit the Falcons' ability. So I'll take the Bears in a close one by 1.
Ooh, 1. I'll go 3. Okay,
I'm gonna go Bears by 6.
1, 3, and 6. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Okay. Next up, Raiders Colts from Lucas Oil. Colts had a horrible game. They realize that they're going to bounce back from this one. I'll take them by 10 in this one.
You said Colts by 10?
Yes.
All right. Let me go Vegas. I'll go Vegas by 3.
Give me. Fuck, this is actually kind of a tough one. Are they playing Lucas? Okay. Give me Colts by 9.
Rams, Giants. Giants are eliminated for playoff contention. Rams have looked a lot better each week, especially on offense. Therefore, I'm going to take the Rams in this one by 14.
I'll go Rams by 7 then.
Puka Nakua is going to whack to the DeVito squad. Rams by 16.
Okay, what's the next one?
Cardinals, Eagles. Simple. Eagles by 21.
Oops. Eagle. All right, I'm going to go Eagles by 14.
I'm going Eagles by 20.
All right, Saints, Buccaneers. Saints have always had the Buccaneers number when Tom Brady was there. However, it's Baker Mayfield, and no one knows what the fuck he's doing day in and day out. So therefore, I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
No one knows what the Saints are fucking doing either.
What the fuck is a Taysom Hill? I'm going to take the Buccaneers by 5.
I'm going to go Tampa by 7.
Give me the Bucks by 13.
All right.
Next up, 49ers, Commanders. 49ers, bad loss against Ravens. They're going to bounce back against checked out Ron Rivera and his squad of silly boys. I'll take the 49ers by, I think, 17. We'll ease up on the brakes a little.
We'll go Niners by 24.
Niners by 28.
Panthers, Jaguars. Panthers looked a lot better last week. Obviously, late game heroics against the Packers. Jaguars have been on the downturn. Lawrence still somewhat injured here and there. Upset alert. Panthers by 1 in overtime.
Oh. You said by 1?
by 1.
I mean, I need Panthers to lose, so give me Panthers or Jags by 1.
Sheesh, I don't even fucking know. You know what? Fuck it, tie.
Tie.
I don't do that very often. I can't think between these two.
Dolphins Ravens. Dolphins lucked out last week against the Cowboys. I think the Ravens will beat them this week. I think the Ravens will win by 10.
I think Ravens defense is much, much better, and it will do damage. So Ravens by 7.
I think it's gonna be Ravens again, but it's gonna be a little bit closer. I'm gonna go Ravens by 3.
All right.
All right. Titans Texans. CJ Stroud is back, and for that reason, I'm going to take the Texans by 5.
Stroud is back. Okay, so I'll go Tex by 10.
Stroud is back. Fucking Texans by 13.
Okay. Steelers Seahawks. I mean,
Ooh.
Mason Rudolph's probably still playing, and the Seahawks looked better last week, especially with not Drew Lock was bad by any means, but Geno Smith being back does help. I think in this case, I'll take the Seahawks by 3 in a close one.
I'm going to Hawks by 7.
The 8-8 standard is the standard. Seahawks by 10.
Okay.
Chargers Broncos. Golly, can I not place a bet? I think
Dude,
the
I did.
surrounding cast of the Chargers is better than the surrounding cast of the Broncos. Also, Easton Stick has looked god awful, so I'll take the Broncos by 3. The final score will be 6-3.
I'm going to take Broncos by 7.
Give me the Broncos by 9.
Right. Next up, Bengals Chiefs, 4:25 on CBS.
You're taking your
This is
Bengals,
going to be
bro.
a game of all time.
Bengals by 3. Evan McPherson gets the game-winning pick.
Ooh.
Chiefs look bad, but so do the Bengals. They're only 1 game apart.
Yeah.
I'm going to go KC by 3.
I feel like it's going to be a weird difference in points. Chiefs by 5.
All right,
Next one.
and then finally, Packers-Vikings. Go, Pack, go. They're going to get the job done. I don't trust whoever the fuck the Vikings are starting at quarterback, so I'll take the Packers by 5 in this one.
No pack, no. I'm taking the Vikings by 5.
Give me Gorlami's team by 10.
I hope y'all lose.
Yep, and that's our predictions for Week 17. Remember, after that, there's only 1 more week. The games haven't even been set as far as time goes. So,
Yeah. All we know is that there's no Thursday night game, so that was it for our predictions.
Exactly.
Thank the Lord, no more Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Did we have any comments on last week's video at all, or anything else the gentlemen wanted to talk about?
No comments.
Hey.
I don't think I've got anything else to talk about. Do you guys?
Not really.
No.
I think that wraps it for us.
Weird week. That's about it.
Yeah. A little bit shorter of a, well, not really short of a podcast, but like smaller group this week. Only 3 of us rather than the normal 5, but it is the holiday festivities. Thank you for our closing episode of 2023. This was a weird year, but again, every year since like 2019 has been weird. So have a happy early start of your 2024. Enjoy football. We only got 2 weeks of the regular season left, and then it gets real. Remember, the college football playoffs are on Monday, January 1st. It is Michigan and Alabama in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, at 5. And then later in the night, there will be Washington versus Texas in the Cotton Bowl, I believe.
I also forgot. Boston College somehow stunned SMU in the Fenway Bowl. We're bowl champs. Who'd have fucking thought?
Who would have thought? But yeah. For myself, for K-Duff, and for Mamba, thank you for attending Football Stooges. Like the video, leave a comment if you want any questions answered or have anything you want to ask us. And as always, run the damn ball. Have a good night.